It is episode 57 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. We've got a lot to cover in here as always, and in a few moments' time, we'll have a special guest joining us. We'll get into that in a second. But as always, Devil, let me do it. It is the 13th of April, 2026. I Am Rio has just started. If you guys are looking for stuff on I Am Rio, we did that in the last episode. So go back and watch that in case you missed it. We did all our predictions, all our thoughts. For me right now, it is 3:44 in the afternoon, which means it's 4:44 for Devil, all the fours across the board. DW, how you doing? How's your week been?
Good.
Or last week,
I've had
between last
obviously
episode.
last episode we filmed was on my birthday, and that was in the middle of the week. So I've been doing, a little bit of celebration with my girlfriend during the weekend. So we checked into a hotel, we went to some restaurants, got a little bit hammered, and slept good, and had a good, breakfast at the hotel. So it was cozy.
Are you recovered?
I'm recovered. Yes, I
You
have.
recovered?
I'm fully recovered from the shenanigans of the weekend.
Okay, that's good then. That's good. You
Yeah.
recovered and you're ready for this one. Well, I have been doing nothing but whole baby duties. Still no streaming, no gaming, nothing else. I was watching a few of the games. I was watching some of the Bucharest matches with baby on my chest. You know, it's a new experience of playing CS, but at least he's getting into it early on. Now, normally when we have a guest on, it's normally like focused just on that guest. It's all about that particular person. But for this one, we wanted to do something a little bit different. We wanted to bring our special guest in a little bit to ask some of your questions, get a bit of background on him. Obviously, he's very well known by this point. He's doing all the interviews for his team. But we're also going to talk about Bucharest, what it was like, the whole event for him, as his team went on to win the whole event. And some of us got this prediction right quite well. We went in the right direction with it. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get straight into it. It's going to be our PGL Bucharest 2026 review with FUT lauNX. lauNX, thank you very much for joining us, my friend. You got a big smile on your face already. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me, guys. It's an honor to take this podcast. I'm doing good. I'm still thinking about the win. As I said before, I still cannot believe it. Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's been 7 years of started playing professional CS, and only now I won my first trophy. Right. So all these years, all these struggles are like going above my head, and I'm thinking like, wow, it actually happened. And yeah.
You know what I love about this as well, right? Is I'll be honest with you because I'm always honest with you. We have quite a few chats on Instagram or at events together. I remember when you were on Sprout, and you remember the manager Daniel, German guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, "This guy is so good. Like he's gonna be the next best thing. Like you need to watch this player." And I remember telling him at the time, I said, "I see him, and I see he looks good, but I said he's not there yet. Like for me, he didn't have that special thing at that moment in time, right? But your development, your growth, your persistence as going as a player, and what you've been able to do, how you've matured, and kind of the career trajectory you've taken, it's so different compared to what a lot of other players who are fighting for the top has been like. So just let us start with that. Is you obviously knew you were always good, but how did you actually now make it work when you've had so many up and downs?
Yeah, I mean, I think first it's all coming from my mentality, right? Because I think like the most two important things is one is that I have a big ego on myself, and two, I'm very self-critical on what I do and what I want for my life. So like I set some expectations kinda from an
Mm.
early age, and I just couldn't sleep on them. And it's also because I don't know how to say it, but like my mom is a warrior and she kinda raised me alone. And having her as a role model in my life, it's I don't know, I just cannot give up on something she fully trusted me on, right? It's like
Yeah.
something I want to fight for me, but also for her because she put like kinda her future, the family's future in me to, go further and do it good for us. So
Yeah.
this is like the biggest points, kind of.
That's obviously like incredible. Like just having such a role model. But I was wondering a little bit actually on that question that Banks posed. You in Sprout, like, because right now you're kind of an emotional leader. You're driving, the players. You're screaming a lot. You're vocal, and I can see that you're giving motivation. When someone does a good play, he's not, left alone to just having that good play. You let him know how good that was. Is that something you did in Sprout, or is it something that you've kind of developed and felt comfortable in this team comparably to back then?
I used to do it also in Sprout, but not as much because I was a kid and I didn't. I mean, I'm still young, but I don't
You
see
are so
myself as a
young.
kid. Yeah, but I don't. I just don't see myself as a kid yet anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, so yeah. I mean, I was doing it in Sprout, but not a lot because back then I had so many problems in a mental way. I was always thinking about stats. I was always thinking about what people will say, and I was always getting up in my head.
Were you
And
a bit of a rager back then?
not rager on the team, but I was raging on myself a lot. Like
Okay.
I never
Yeah.
raged, like never in my career. And I can ask anyone from my teammates, all teammates. I never raged to anyone inside the team or directly to a teammate. And the only biggest problem with me, and still is sometimes, I expect way too much from myself. And when I fail, it hits me so hard that I go like very crazy sometimes, but just on myself. And then of course it affects the team, so that's why I'm working so much on it, because I know if I can stop this mental thing in my head, then I can make it work even better. So yeah,
It's a superpower. Like you can look at all
Definitely.
the, great players that we've had. If you look at Apex, emotional leader, he has had his struggles and, throughout his career, we're dealing with that. But if you can harness it and use it for good, like you're doing right now in FUT, it becomes like a superpower. You become super valuable for a team. You can change the mood. You can shift moods from, from going from the bottom to the top. Obviously, you can do the reverse as well, but you at least have the power to control it in some sense.
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, for me, it's also a bit lucky because I got the chance to play with such young players, right? Because I feel like if I would have played in another more experienced team, I don't think I would have had the same results. Because I feel with these guys we connect in so many different ways and we got so close to each other in such a short time that I don't think it would have been possible with someone twice my age, and that's just
Yeah.
the reality of things.
And that happens, by the way, for so many players. I think I remember talking to you guys in Cluj-Napoca, and I remember talking to Coolio and some of the other players on your team, and I just said, the best thing you guys can do is stay together, because if one player gets taken from this and breaks this up, that player probably won't end up so happy on another team because he won't be given the same voice, the same freedom, like what you guys have built. I know people joke and meme on the fact that people say family in a team, but I mean, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of teams that say family, and we already know they're not a family,
I
right? You can
mean,
see it from how they behave and act. But you guys are a different breed. And the thing I wanted to look at with that is you were the last player into the team. Obviously, Makazi goes out, you come in, right?
It was
Um,
Masuta, wasn't it?
yeah, Misuta
oh, but
replaced Makaze and I
was
replaced
Masuta on a
Misuta.
full? But he was never full for the roster, if I'm right.
No,
Yeah.
he got signed in the beginning with the main roster and
Yeah,
Ah,
he
it
played
was like a
for one
month.
month.
about to
Yeah,
say it was so short. I thought it was like a
yeah,
loan. They weren't happy with him, and then he went. Okay, so he even got
no,
signed.
he got signed.
So
Yes.
so Masuda was signed, then he went, and then they found you. But what was it like for you coming into a team where, including the coach, five people have been together for so long, and then you are like the outsider stepping on into the team?
I mean, not a big problem because I feel all my career I've been going around teams, joining new people, new lineups, old lineups. I've been in all the scrambles possible in the national scene when I was young. I played in every iteration lineup possible. So
Mm,
I think on that side again, I got a lot of experience, and personally, it didn't affect me in any way. If anything, it made it easier because it's only me who has to get close to them. It's not them to me, right? So I can
hmm
get used to everything very fast. Also in real life, I don't have problems with learning new stuff, learning new people, getting to know the culture, getting to know the rules. I like it. It's a new challenge. Why not?
That's nice. It's a positive mindset to have with it all as well. And how quickly, if you're being honest, did it come together where you felt so close with the other individuals, and like how did that process work? How were you all able to do it? Because obviously it's not just your work, it's the team's work, the coach's work, it's everyone around you.
I think the moment we kind of glued together, it was winning Draculan.
Hmm
I think prior to Draculon, we won some. online tournaments, but that's nothing because when
Yeah.
you win a LAN tournament, even if it was a small LAN tournament, like just the feeling of winning a trophy together, like everyone is feeling the emotions, like smiling, is it's good. It's a crazy feeling. I mean, Devil, for sure, you did it many times. It's like you can't get enough of it. Every time it's
Yeah.
the same feeling, but it's so nice. And I think that moment, it's when we kind of got very close together. And then from there we just jumped. Like each tournament we went by, it was the Jim Stockholm. There we lost in the grand finals, but again, our style, we choked the finals, but we got to learn. And then with
Yeah.
bigger tournaments, it was just the same beautiful story. We fail, but we learn, we fix, and then next tournament we do better.
So would you say that this has kind of been, because you've always hovered, around the top 20 mark, you've competed in that kind of, I don't know, gateway towards tier one for quite a while, even before you joined the lineup. But the Draculan, was it like a springboard of belief for you
I
guys that you can do it even at bigger scenes?
I I think so because it was a land tournament again. It was like that was the biggest question mark with this lineup, like biggest what if I think for anyone. Like,
Yeah.
can they do it? I mean, can we do it on land? Like, can they actually do the same stuff on land than online? And yes, we do it, but actually we do it even better. We are much more confident on land. We feel much better on land. The mental is much more positive on land because we are next to each other. If someone is sad, we can lift him up. There is no problem in that. We try to be there for each other. But when you are at home, it's not the same because you can see what the other guy is doing right next to you, right? Like you can say nice try, and then next moment you mute and you just slam everything in your room, and that's not good. But I can know it. So that's the good side about LAN with us because we see our flaws. We see when we tilt. We see when we don't feel good in the game, and then we can just okay, look on the VOD. You did that. Why did you do that? Why did you feel bad? It's like what happened? Tell me. I can fix it, or maybe Coolio can fix it. Someone can
Yeah.
fix it. There is always a fix. We just need to speak about it.
And do you think it's quite actually good the dynamic you guys have in the team where it's a European team, but it's kind of like an Eastern European team
Yeah,
overall?
yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
all of you are from that side of Europe where the mentality, like I live in Ukraine, right? I understand how some of this mentality works and the differences between, say, the Western Europe teams. Do you think that's a very important
Yes,
factor of how you have these conversations?
totally, totally. Because I feel like I like for sure there are some people in Western countries that have been living a bad life from the start, like
Yeah.
but I think dominantly us Eastern Europeans were more used to getting the shovel,
A bit of a
with the
hard
dirt.
slap every
Yeah,
now and
with the dirt.
again.
Yeah, you need to get the potatoes out of the dirt and stuff like this. So, I mean, we're used to this as Eastern Europeans, right? So when it comes down to mentality and struggles, I think we
Mhm.
are more dominant in this way. At
Yeah.
least that's how I see it. I don't think someone, at least me, I didn't have a beautiful blossom life from the get go. Like my mom struggled to buy me stuff when I was young, but she did her best. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's interesting because when I make the comparison, right, and it's nothing against people who had a better condition, but if I
yeah,
look at
of
some of
course.
the Western European players, they can be quite soft. Where I've seen a team manager or a team coach say to them, "This wasn't good," yeah, and they're like, "Oh no, like I can't take it," that kind of thing.
That's not good. No, that's
And
not
then,
good. I don't.
and that it's like if that bothers them, then how can you have those open and honest conversations? And from what I see, obviously, I know Coolio pretty well. I speak a lot more to you, but like I try to just observe what happens in your team, and it seems like everyone from when I've been at events with you guys takes the bullshit with no problem. No one's sat there in a corner crying. They may not like it all the time, but everyone gets on with it.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about our team, and I think maybe sometimes it's too much because like I'm not used to it because in my past teams like Falcons, Bleed, Sprout, Revenant, like these guys were
Yeah.
just trying to impose the professionalism and pro whatever stuff, but they didn't even do it themselves, so whatever. But here, what I like is that like you can feel it's full friendly and full family because it feels
Hmm.
like I'm talking to a friend and we're just taking shit to each other. And yeah, maybe I don't know, I will be very mad on you and I might think about throwing something at you in the night. But the next day, when we fix the mistakes, we'll be completely happy about it. And that's
Yeah.
the good
Yeah.
thing about it.
Yeah.
And they say it very directly. Like sometimes, like mid game, when everyone is completely chill, we are winning. I hear someone like full flaming the other guy, and I'm like, "Look, hey, okay, no, no, don't start." But then I'm thinking that's how they got used to it, and it's good. I
Yeah.
should let them have it because that's how they fix their mistakes, and they do it even in game. Like most of the time, they fix it. Like I've mostly it's not me. It's usually Kraben
Mhm.
telling us that we fuck up some rounds, but yeah, I think everyone is taking it good. We might get offended by it. We might talk back to each other, but in the end, we dispute it and it's fixed.
And we got to look at this, right? Just getting more onto Bucharest and what happened. I'm not going to go into details about the events you've had with FUT because you guys have had some really solid events. But I want to just talk quickly about the development before we get to Bucharest. Is that like you guys started the year by getting tier one events, right? You had Blast Bounty, top 16. You then have Krakow. You make it to the main Krakow event, right? 9th to 12th, Cluj, 9th to 11th, but you could have made playoffs. Like everywhere we're looking, we're seeing growth and development. Then Pro League, fourth place. Okay, there wasn't the Vitality and Falcons there, but there was still a lot of other really good teams there. Obviously, the Mouse game, for example, huge one. But then Bucharest, this level up, and you beat all the good teams that were there. Like, this was such a legit run from you guys, getting revenge on Paravision, taking down Mongols, taking down Astralis, obviously, which was another revenge story at the same time. Did you guys come into the mindset of Bucharest that this was a tournament like we're going to win? Or how does FUT approach this?
Okay, first I'm gonna speak on the team side, and then I will speak on personal side.
Yeah.
So on the team side, FUT like this is what I like about FUT, and this is why I think we do good, because in the other organizations, people not only that they push the idea that you need to win the trophy, but it's like unless you don't win the trophy, then you know something bad is going to happen. So then
Oh,
at least that's how it happened in my past teams. Like
yeah.
like it was always this, best results instantly this and that, but it's not like this.
That's
Once you
not good.
start putting this crazy, I mean, maybe it's not crazy for the lineups we had or like lineups that were built with other players, not only me and stuff like this, but you can't just expect people, you throw them some things on a note and you expect them to do it in 6 months. It's just not possible, and you'll make it even worse. But FUT is not doing it. If anything, FUT is going, guys, hey, go game by game. You already made us incredibly happy. Like we went top three now VRS, and I think not even them expected it, right? I mean, they expected
Mhm.
success, but not this kind of success in such a short amount of time. I think no one did, not even me, and maybe not even them. I think if anyone would say to us 3 months ago that we are going to be top three in the world VRS and like win tier one events and stuff like this, I would probably say like, no, you are crazy, man. Like, get out, you, you want me to go crazy also. But so yeah, on a team wise, I think there is no pressure at any event. If anything, they want us to go game by game and get experience so we can do even better in the major stages, right? Because in the end, the major is coming and we need to do good there and give a good punch. But on a personal side, now I can say it because I couldn't say it in the tournament because again, you can jinx it and stuff. But I truly came up in Bucharest with the idea that we are going to win it. I told everyone that was close to me, like pro players, family, friends. I told everyone if I'm not going to win this Bucharest, then it's not me. Like I told them with the teams, when I saw the teams, I told everyone like, hey, we win this for sure. Like I know the current state of this lineup we have right now, how we shoot, how we play. There is no way these teams can take us down if we fix our
Yeah.
mental stuff. And it happened. We fixed our mental problems. We stopped throwing stupid rounds. Of course, there were still some silly rounds we lost, but it's understandable. But again, we fixed what was the biggest problem and we won the tournament. So I'm more than happy.
So were you at a boot camp before? Because I think you released, some kind of video recording where Symmetry said that he was gonna be MVP before the tournament started in Bucharest.
I mean,
Um,
we
it
had
has
a
to,
boot. Say.
yeah. It was the feeling always, that you're gonna win PGL Bucharest from within the roster itself.
Like this is the thing. I think everyone in this lineup thinks that we can win so many trophies and stuff, but like everyone is so humble and so
Okay.
So normal that we just don't want to say it to each other, because I don't think it's also good. Like, I think it's nice how we handle it, and how Coolio is telling everyone, like, okay, we won a tournament, but we are not the top of the world. Like, hey, calm down. you know, like, we need to
Yeah.
get back to the grind. It's not like we won everything in one tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, but of course we make jokes, because in the end, like, if you make jokes about something, there is a bit of reality to it, right?
Of course.
And yeah, I mean, we believe it. Of course, we believe it. I think if we wouldn't believe that we can make these good runs in tournaments, I don't think we would have been here.
I also have another question because I think a lot of people kind of categorize your team as, they shoot really, really hard. Do you feel like that's a kind of a mischaracterization of your team? Like it's not only shooting hard. I mean, Counter Strike is so much more than that.
Yeah,
How would you describe your team if you got the chance to kind of like give yourself a description, what you're good at? Why are you winning games? Why were you so efficient here at Bucharest?
I mean, for me, I mean, of course, yeah, we're insane shooters. There is no doubt in that. But one more thing that I think is helping us is, I think, with the fact that, again, we are all coming from the same region of Europe, and we all kind of have the same path, grind, face it, play your best, grind for your dream and stuff like this. We all have this very crazy, chaotic play style, and we got so used to it that, like, I feel like most of the tier 1 pros, especially the veteran ones already in the scene, they're just not used to it. And I think now it will be a mixture of, how should I say it, more experienced base CS, and a lot of upcomers coming now, hard shooting. It will be like a mix of both. But with us, what Coolio is doing, like, this is what I like about Coolio. He's making strats and our notebook pretty structured. Like, it's not like we're headless chickens. If
Okay.
anything, it's the opposite. Like, we know what we want to do. We have a prior plan. Like, we know what the enemies are doing. We know the weak points. We try to attack the weak points. We know our flaws before the game, so what we shouldn't do, what we should change a bit. Like, we really try to keep it as structured as possible. In the same time, we are trying to add from our individual mind, in the crazy situations, our personal plays, because most of the time, and I'm not even kidding, the plays you see, the ones like the crazy shots and plays, like, we don't
Yeah.
even speak about it, it's just happening. Like, people are just going, like, Demon is just like bam bam, three deagle headshots, you don't understand what's happening, he's not even talking, he's just killing everyone, and then you wander around. And it's the same with
Yeah.
everyone. And I think that's coming from the grind we did when we were, I mean, we are still young, but because we're playing for so long,
Yeah.
it's kind of paying off, because we got used to so many situations, and we got so comfortable with the chaos that's happening in tier 1 games, that for us is like a paradise. When I see three smokes flying, four molotovs and flashes, it's like I'm back in face it with my friends. Let's go, let's fight.
Everyone's just going for it. Everyone's on the same idea, the same way of
Yeah,
doing it, pushing forward. And that's what you want in a Counter Strike team that's working and fluid and playing off each other. I also wanted to ask a bit similar to what Devil was saying about Symmetry, is that I look at both events which you guys won, right? The Draculan and obviously now Bucharest being the big one. This is where he's been at his best, but he has had struggles this year. He's not performed up to maybe the same standard of what he would want himself to be at. What did you notice that was different in him for this event, right? Because it's not just a great performance, it's an MVP performance. It's huge.
no, I think it's just the, as I said, it's just he's gaining experience. Everyone is gaining experience, and with each tournament we play, I can see them growing confident and confident and confident, believing in themselves. They want to take more risks during the match, and that's why they get this crazy plays and they get those MVP stats, because now everyone is willing to take the risk most of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Before, against good teams, yeah, sometimes we were taking the risk, but if they started coming back on us, we were then kind of in a chokehold, and then we stopped doing the moves. But
Yeah.
now, even if we get stomped, we're still trying to do the moves. So it's good. Like, we are working on it.
Do you
And
think your team is better because I mean I look at your game sometimes and you love to contact, you love to go for space with like Mirage, for example, you can sneak up short all the way, or sneak up con, and you kind of just continue until you get a duel at certain points. Do you feel like that just is something that you as a team are very good at and can make work because you have such skilled players that you feel you're confident, if I end up in a 1v1 duel, I'm
Truly.
going to win it?
Yeah.
And therefore you apply so much pressure on the other opponents, they can't really handle it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't want to, again, it's not about having a big ego or because we won a tournament. But I do feel like in Tier 1 we have like one of the strongest lineups aim-wise. Like if I look at all the players, like us five, if you take like head-to-head role-wise, there might be a better Opard, there might be a better Rifler, but in the end, us five all together, I
Yeah.
feel we have such a strong firepower that we can take on everybody.
I completely agree. I remember when Major said it in an interview that you guys have, I can't remember the exact quote, but he was like
Let me try
comparing you
find
to the
it.
vitalities and etc. in terms of firepower, and he pretty much got by the entire community said he's a delusional idiot or something like. And I agree with Major. I said it in this podcast when that interview came out. Uh,
Um,
because like getting kills isn't really about firepower, but if you look at your situations that you end up getting into, it's a lot about firepower, reflexes, and individual skill, comparably to maybe even vitality.
I mean, the thing is, of course, compared to Vitality, I think it's like the biggest difference because Vitality is playing so good and
Yes.
so structured. They just pick up kills by utility. They molly you out, they flash you, you are dead in 1 second. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's it. They won the round. But then again, with us, if we don't find a kill, we do some smokes. They are blind, we are blind, and somehow out of a sudden you just see someone like flicking fast, bam, bam, and you have the advantage. And that's the thing with us. That's what's like. That's our card in the sleeve. We
Yeah.
have this fast reflexes, everyone, and we're kind of all on the same page most of the time.
And it's beautiful. That's what you
Yeah,
want. That's what you
yeah,
need, and what
It's
many teams
fun.
can never build.
Definitely fun.
yeah, yeah.
To bring up that quote as well, right? This is where it's a bit harsh on Major because HLTV only put like part of the quote out and said FUT shoot better than Spirit, Vitality, or Falcons, right?
Yeah.
It is kind of what he said, but he said when I play Spirit or Vitality or I play Falcons, FUT are shooting better than all of these teams. Yesterday, they really shoot better than every opponent I've played right now. So really congrats to them. But hopefully next time we can get our revenge. This is where the community is a bit stupid because what they think is like, oh, well, they have Donk or they have Nico, right? And like you just said, Lance, it could be Donk shoots better, yeah. But if you're looking at it as a 5
Yeah.
versus 5 right
Yeah.
now,
That's
look
what
at
I mean.
even look at Krabeni, for example. This guy's an IGL. He's shooting harder than any other IGL.
He's
other
the
IGL.
craziest I've seen in my life. I don't think I've ever seen. And I'm telling you, since I'm young, I liked watching 1.6 clips, source clips, like every CS itineration clip, highlights and movies, just to get the confidence, the feeling of being professional. But I don't know, like Raben is something from the outer world. I swear, even with calling and shooting, he's like something else most of the time. I don't understand how he's doing it.
I feel like it's an Albanian /
It's
Kosovo
definitely-
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's you don't know how he's doing, but he's doing it. So you don't
Yeah.
ask how. You just like let him do his job.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what's impressive, right? Is I feel like any one of you could be an MVP of a tournament if you're going to go and win it, right? It could be Drugs, it could be you, it could be Cemetery, it could be Demon. It's like it all depends on the day. Do you have that belief in each other that even say when it's a 2vx situation or a 1vx situation, like you don't see yourselves as having any weak links, I'm sure, right? Because if you look at every other team, for example, we look at Spirit, right? Yeah, Donk's alive, it's going to be a problem. But if you've got Magic's alive, everyone's going to think, well, we'll just wait for the next round to happen. But with you guys, there's that clutch potential almost in every single opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's I don't I want to say it's crazy that it's happening, but I can't say because it's kind of expected. Like it has been so many years of CS and so many lineups, so many players up and coming and stuff. Like it was expected at some point that there will be a team or some players that will kind of catch fire, because it's just
Yeah.
not possible. It was just a matter of time of who can actually put the pieces together and make them work, because all around the world, like not only in Europe, America, Asia, Africa, I'm 100%, there are so many talented kids, but it's
Yeah.
just a matter of if you find them, when do you find them, and if you can keep them on the right track to do it together. And that's what
Yeah.
Coolio did with Navi and these guys, and FUT just picked them up, and now they keep the streak going. They just, I
Yeah.
don't know, it's like everyone is putting some parts in the machine, and the machine keeps working.
Do you think, like, if we go like VRS, do you feel like this was a blessing for your team in a sense that you could kind of get up to these events compared to maybe, the franchise leagues where it was very, very closed off? It was hard to get an opportunity to get to play tier 1 tournaments, and there weren't even that many tier 2 tournaments or tier 3 tournaments to some sense. Do you think that this has kind of opened up the path for you
Yeah.
as a team to get to the top?
I think it's not only for us, but I think for everyone. I think if someone is saying now that this VRS is bullshit, I think they're out of their mind. If anything, this is the only system in CS, at least in CS2 and CSGO. I don't know about the others because I didn't have the age of playing it and living it by myself. But at least for 7 years since I'm playing professionally, I feel this is the biggest and the best system ever, because it's actually rewarding the guys who are playing the best in that point at that
Yes.
time,
Mhm.
not who played better 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and they had the wonder tournament because they got on your lineup. No, no, we don't care about that. We care about the future and the present now. What's happening now? And
I
this
agree
is
with
what
you.
and I feel this is what VRS is doing. Of course, like teams are up and coming, but this is what's happening everywhere in the world around the sports. Like teams are losing, teams are winning, new changes are coming. Of course, it's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at this as well, when I look at this Navi situation where they've come from Navi Academy going into this, obviously you were not part of that, but do you see that Navi project and how the Navi situation was run was like a blessing for the young players, like having that system compared to something that you did not have? Do you see the positives?
But I feel there is a bit of misconception because I don't feel the guys full picked up the Navi system. I think I feel like Julio just picked up some ideas from Blade and Navi,
Hmm.
and with the help of Navi, like people and
Yeah.
organization, they made the Navi Junior system, which is,
Okay.
I mean, you can compare there is so few things similar to us and the Navi lineup. Like they
Hmm.
play so much structure, they play so tactical,
Yeah.
and we are on the other side. I mean, we have a lot of structure and we have tactics and stuff, but we are
But it's
much more
different.
crazy. Yeah, like
Hmm.
we can go and do and try some crazy kills, and if we die, it's okay. But in Avi, it's not like this. At least from what
Yeah.
I've heard.
And
So,
and then okay, looking at that then, not just in game, but what about like how it's helped the players develop in their career, like just being on an organization like that? Do you see a difference in them compared to other players you've worked
yeah,
with? Because that's what always interests me, is that how these academy teams can help players develop in other ways, you know?
I feel Navi it's one of the rarest exceptions of academies who are doing the job right, because I feel they are keeping the players not only on the right track with the game, but they're trying to keep them normal also. Like not only
Mm.
kids sitting in front of a computer, like they try to teach them stuff about life and stuff, which is very important, because at the end of the day, when we finish the CS career, we have nothing, most of us, because I
Yeah,
know like 90-80% of the new players, they don't finish school, they don't do anything in school, they just quit, drop out, and they go. And but it's not the way, it's for sure not the way, and this trend should stop because it's pretty dangerous for the upcoming future.
exactly.
But
That's good advice from you. You always give good advice for everyone
no,
coming up.
but it's because I
It's a
know
pretty
this.
low percentage of players who actually
Yes,
make it. Like,
yes.
it's crazy when you think about that and how
And I
many that
agree.
actually commit.
Do you know what's crazy? We're in this situation where if you go back to say when I was playing in anything esports wise, it was such a low amount of people that were playing back in 2003, 2004. So the people playing to the number that made success was still the same, but it was an easier opportunity, right? Now there are so many millions of kids who are growing up, and not just in Counter-Strike, in other games, and they say, I want to be a professional.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'm not going to say it's the same number as football, but now it's almost like football in a sense where it's really that top 0.5%, not even a whole percent, that could make it from any country into any situation, you know? And if you gamble your whole life on it, then you could mess up everything else and ruin it just off the fact you didn't like. You might be good enough, you might just not get the right team or might not get given the right opportunity.
You might not even get spotted because you're coming
Yeah.
from like as I said, it can be even an African kid who's maybe as stonk, but he just has no chance.
No one's
Maybe he's
looking
just
there.
playing. Yeah, maybe he's just playing in the school, like in the school huts, you know, just playing it like in the info hours, you know, with his friends, and he's insane. But there is no way you can see him. Sadly, there is
Yeah.
just no way, and you can't lie. You can't sell lies to this kind of people because me personally, I do think that if I sell this kind of lies to upcoming kids, I'm responsible for fucking up their future. And I don't
Yeah.
want that to happen. I think if we want to be role models for kids, like we need to show the good side and the bad side because in the end, this is a sword with two edges. And if you get cut by it, you won't have a good life at all. Like I heard very
100%.
bad like I heard very bad stories about ex-professional players who were good and threw away everything and now it's very bad for them.
Oh yes.
And even myself, like I've went through so much with Revenant. Like we had 7 months of non-payment, no salaries. I lost like 20 kilograms, full stress. No, I was not allowed to do anything. It was very bad. No money. Like I was lucky. I won Romanian Esports League and I got like 2k euro to pay rent for 3 months to 4 and buy new pip specs for the computer so I can stream. And I got back into FPL. I streamed. I got money. It was a real struggle, and I don't want anyone to go through such things because I know what happened with my mentality. I felt I was going insane. I was living alone, no parents, only my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Thanks God for that. And I was just grinding, struggling. Man, I need to make it. Like, there's no way. I need to keep pushing. But I know that no one, like, it's very few people that can do it, like, with this
Yeah.
mentality. Because you have to be
Exactly.
a bit crazy in the head. And I am crazy in the head. I always said it. You have to be
Crazy in a
crazy in
good
the
way
head.
though. Crazy in a
Yes.
good way.
Yes.
And
I agree with you. You have to be somewhat insane to even pursue a Counter-Strike career.
Yes.
in many aspects of it, by the way.
Many
in
aspects.
many aspects of it.
I
It does-
recognize that.
Between all three of us here, definitely some craziness. You also just mentioned one thing about your girlfriend. If you're fine to talk about this, how long have you guys been together?
I mean,
Because-
soon it's gonna be 3 years, but
Okay, so she's been along for a lot of the wild part of the journey into where you are
Yes.
now.
I mean,
By the way, this is a relationship I already approve of because she was there before he was successful. There's many of these young
Yes.
players I'm always telling, if you get a girl after you were successful or when you've already made pro, don't. Just stay single.
no.
Just focus on the game because otherwise it can make too much problems, too many headaches.
I want to say it now, like no, like I was blessed personally because I found this girl and she's not even
Yeah.
my age, so there is that for sure. There are not girls my age that think like her and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But like we kind of met in my Falcons period when I was okay. Like you
Mhm.
know, I was earning good, I was doing good, so it was that. But then I fell down so bad, Revenant. You know, like I lost my shape, I lost my body, I lost like I lost everything.
Yeah.
But she was still there. Like she was still there. She kept pushing me. She kept telling, like, you show these motherfuckers, like you got it. Like you're the most talented. Like do it, push it. And when I
Nice.
have a woman like this behind me, then I have my mom as a role model, bro. I can't. Like I need to show I'm stronger. Like what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, like-
perfect. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Because too many players get too sidetracked by this other stuff and it can go horribly wrong. There's many
It
stories
happened to
out
me
there.
when I was 17, 16 also. I got caught in the love sites and I didn't know, like I didn't want to play CS. I was just running after the fucking heels.
Oh,
Sorry for the words.
no.
I was just running after the heels of a 17-year-old girl. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
the age, you know. And I hope everyone is realizing a bit faster because I
Yeah.
did. But if you
Good.
don't realize fast, then I mean everyone will take advantage of you. Even girls, even guys. Like
Friends. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like sadly, is the nature of most of the humans. You can't do anything about it.
No.
That's reality.
It is a sad reality of it all.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about the Bucharest run that you guys had here, because you start off with the win against Inner Circle. Ultimately, okay, you may have lost Dust 2, but it looked like a pretty comfortable game for you guys. Then you only had to face NRG to go 2-0. NRG is not really a team that's going to give you much problems anyway, and it showed it. I'm not being disrespectful, but the levels are different, right? You guys are playing at a much higher level right now. But then it's Paravision, Bait, Mongols from here. The Paravision one for you, I know, was an important one. right? And this was to qualify for playoffs as well. Not eliminate them, but it was to give you a big win. You also dropped a 1.44 rating. Was this a game where it felt personal for you?
I mean, for me, every game I lose and I get to take my revenge is personal because I don't like losing. So if I lost against someone, then next time I have to win for sure, and it happened every time in my career. So there is that.
Okay. Okay.
But I told these guys like every time we lost and we faced someone else, I said, "Hey, look, we faced them again, and this is the rule. We have to beat them now." And it happened every time. Every time we lost to someone, the next time we faced them, we beat them. Same with Furia, same with G2, same with Mouse, same with Australis, and I think the list will go on.
Is it because of what prep you're doing after losing to them and understanding how to play against them?
I feel it's more like, especially against top teams, we're a bit
Mhm.
scared in the beginning or we feel pressure, then we lose.
Mm.
And then we realize we lost because, again, we throw the rounds by ourselves, and the difference is not that big between us and them. It's just experience in the
Yeah.
end. And then when we play them again, it's like, yeah, there is that. We got the skill, so let's just show them what we got. There is nothing to be scared of, and then that's why we are winning the second game.
Mhm.
But don't you think there's like a big? I've always felt like this. It's a big advantage to be the loser of the last series going into a game
Yeah.
because you know what to change, what to fix, and how to approach it differently. While for the winners, it's more guesswork. They don't really know what you will keep doing, change, etc. So in terms of like prep work, I feel like there's a pretty big advantage being the losers of the last series.
Yes, especially when you are up and coming like us, and we were facing upper teams from tires, right?
Yep.
Because they have no clue how we are playing at all, and we know everything what they do because we take some stress from them, we watch demos from them, we watch some YouTube clips, some tricks from them, so we kind of know everything about them, but they know nothing about us. Of course, this will change in the upcoming near future,
Yep.
but in the same time, again, I'm not gonna give a lot of insights, but Coolio is very smart in this regard, and I feel right before every tournament he changed minimum to 2 or 3 things in our strat book or how we approach
Nice.
maps. So there is no way in this world that people will know how we're going to play from an event to the next event because at least 2 or 3 maps will be changed in some aspect, and that's very smart from Coolio. And I think very few coaches I've known do it.
Definitely. Definitely. And then, okay, I've got to look at this, right? The playoff bracket run you had after obviously the Paravision game, you make playoffs. It felt like to me that you guys had the much harder side of the bracket if you compare it to
Yeah.
what Astralis had, right?
Oh,
You guys had Mongols or Paravision you'd be facing. You started off against Bait, and then obviously Bait is obviously a team that's going through some learnings, but they certainly did push you a little bit. Were you surprised with how much fight Bait were able to be putting up against you guys?
no, not really. I mean, I think it will be stupid for us who came from the same tire as them to
Mm.
think that a team of the same tire can do the same thing to us. It's not the same. It's not a good way to think about it. If we could do it,
Mhm.
for sure another team can do it. It's not like we have been sent from heaven to save CS. How a lot of people say. No, we might be a bit unique for this specific time we are playing right now, but I'm for sure in the future it will happen again. So
Mm.
yeah, there is that. But yeah,
They played a lot
yeah,
better this tournament.
Yeah.
Bait. They were
no.
definitely, good. Uh, Still maybe a little bit iffy if Sissy is still gathering experience, getting better in games, finding
Yeah.
consistency. Obviously a tough kind of match because you're a scary team to face individually. So yeah, probably that's why you won in the end.
Some close margins with it
It
as
was
well. At least
close. It was
potential it could have
close.
gone to a third. At least potential.
Yeah, but that game was also like I told them, and I was so mad after that game because I told them it felt one of my biggest off days in this career. Like I was trying to smokes, getting killed through flashbangs. I was miffing people from behind. I was spraying 3 people down. Everyone was left 10 HP, and I couldn't kill anyone. It was just that bad day.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said in the interview, I remember I kind of got crumbled a bit mentally and I didn't help the team enough with the mentality, right? And they could get some rounds. And then the mood was getting affected by myself and the others, and it kind of went like a cannonball, because I
Mm-hmm.
kind of let the harness go away. But yeah, after that game, I realized there is no way in a playoff I'm gonna be mad about an off day, and then the next
Yeah.
day I was back on track, ready to smash.
And looking at that next day, it was the Mongols. Obviously, the Mongols have had a meteoric rise and been able to stay at the top tier of CS, even with changing the players in it. But what is it like? Because this is your first game against the Mongols. What was it like to face this team who also want to fight a lot and also want to keep throwing aggression at you?
The best game of my life I've played officially. Like I said to my friend, who I spent the night after we won, like they were by far the only team I faced in my life who actually I felt that, bro, they got the smoke, man. Like they were like shooting one taps. Cobra Zera was doing flicks, doing ace with top. Everyone was shooting, pushing through smokes. I was like, man, this is madness. But I loved every second of it. It was such a fun game, and I really wanted to play that game because I always knew, because we have so similar playstyles, it will be so funny. Because in so many situations we clashed like directly head to head, like 4-on-4 on a site, just brawl, just fight. And it was so nice, and I was feeling so alive.
But is it, I got to ask this, right? Because obviously you guys want to fight like that, but it's not many teams that will challenge you with that, right? So to me, that game just looked like there was no resting for anyone in that game. There was something happening across the map all the time. Like you must have had to been so aware and so on it.
I mean, we were prepared for it, but like that's why I waited. Like I really, I don't know. If I would like to change something in this VRS, I want to get Mongols instead of Astralis in tournaments. I would like to play more Mongols than Astralis because it's much more funny to play these Mongols, guys. I swear, like it's
Yeah.
much. I don't know. For me, at least, it's feeling much more competitive on this aspect. Like you have to be aware of everything, you know. While with Astralis, you kind of always know what they do. You see the same smoke, same molotovs. You already know because we played them 6 times and they don't change that much. And mentality wise, they are crumbling pretty fast. So we know that if we start shooting some real heads, they have no chance. So,
Yeah.
but against Mongols, it's not like this because they don't tilt that much and they shoot heads back. So it's very
Yeah.
fun.
And they'll just, even if it's not working, they'll just keep trying. They'll just
Yeah,
keep throwing
good.
themselves at you.
They keep fighting. That's the spirit.
It's an entertaining way to play Counter Strike,
Definitely.
comparably to maybe the more structured way with smokes and trying to trick people that way.
I mean, I think it's good to play also with smokes and being structured, right? But I feel when you go like way too structured, then I don't know. I feel it's not CS anymore.
Yeah. No,
I tend to agree.
looking at, before we talk about the grand final, looking at the history between you and Astralis, you have played each other so much this year. There has been Krakow, Cluj, twice at EPL on just the group stages. Both stages you played it. Then you had to play him in the finals as well for that third place decider. And especially the third place decider, one that you ended up losing there on the end, right? You had the overtime game.
Oh my god.
Felt like you should have had that one?
Hey, flashbacks 12-10 overpass 3v2, 10 seconds left. We knew both of them heaven and short. No one was holding short. We were planting default on site. He got the bomb. We lost. Everyone was full tilt. I remember the mood was, I don't know. It felt so bad, but we learned from it. Then I'm happy. We beat them now in the grand final. So unlucky.
But what is it that makes because like for us as viewers, as fans, I look forward. When I saw it was FUT versus Astralis, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good game. This is going to be a good game of Counter-Strike where we'll get some distance on it. It'll be some entertaining, interesting maps. So what is it that makes that matchup so good in your opinion?
I think it's because us being this crazy, chaotic, upcoming team, right? And them in the same time having the redemption arc of Fuxi. And then you have the likes of Ster and Yabi in the team who are like already old experienced players, which are pretty likable. Yeah, maybe less stabby for some reason, but we keep it off the track. But Ster is a very cool guy, right? So, and then you have Fizzy, who is also such a nice story of comebacking into the scene and delivering good numbers.
Yep.
Then you got Ryu, who is a good up and coming guy. So yeah, I think there is that. Like there is a good story on both teams. You want everyone to win a trophy, kind of from both teams. And
Well,
I
when
think
you
that's
look
why.
when you look at this matchup, and I watched the game a little bit today, it felt really easy for you guys in this matchup in the final. It felt like everything you did, you were either catching map control, like Mirage, for example. You just walked up con, they had no one short watching, they had no one con watching. It caught them by surprise a lot of the times. And even in disadvantaged situations, you found gaps and found kills to kind of bring it back to continue your momentum. Was it just pure momentum in terms of calling and shooting that kind of brought you it so dominant in this grand final? Or do you feel like it was, I don't know, prep work? You just had really, really good prep work for Astralis.
I feel it was kind of momentum also on our side because we wanted to smash them so hard and there was no way we could let it slip. But in the same time, I feel like at least 35% of the loss of Astralis is just going to themselves. Because no jokes, like from the first map, like we knew that we are in their head. Like we could
Yeah.
hear the slam decks when they were dying, like we were winning every duel. We can hear Hooksy screaming every time we play them. And bro, like when I hear him doing it, of course I'm gonna try to attack the guy you scream at and I'm gonna scream as hard as I can when we win. Because it's so annoying for the enemy. And I feel with each map we went by, we were just getting into their head more and more. And we know for sure that they are scared of us. Like we know they have some players in the team that are literally scared of that about us, like individually. And again, at least me on a personal level, and I'm trying to tell this the guys also. Like man, when you know someone is scared of you individually, just go smash his aim. Like don't even think twice. He will be so scared of you in a 1v1. Like don't even think twice. You'll always win that duel. And that's how I
Do you feel
always
like
feel.
they back off way
Yes,
more
yes.
in the maps and give you the space to control because of that?
Yes, I do feel yes, and I think they overthink the situation so much in so many ways. Like I don't know,
Because I feel
it
like
felt
you're a team. You kind of have to stop you. You have to put brakes on you. You have to fight
yes.
you, like so that you start thinking CS again instead of you always, controlling map control gaps and being very reactive in the way you're playing, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing with Krabeni. I think people don't acknowledge yet the fact that he's very brain active. Like I swear, this guy is having so many on-fly
I have no
calls.
doubts about that. I have no doubts
Yeah,
about
no,
that, by the
I
way.
mean like more like community wise because I see a lot of
Yeah.
guys saying crazy stuff on forums about him, but it's not true at all. Like as I said in past interviews, like sometimes we're playing and he's just giving a call. I'm listening to it, sight is clear, and then I'm like, no one has said any piece of information, and then he's just coming up with this perfect call, and then I'm like, hey, this guy is wall hacking or something. He has something in his he has something in his ears, like someone telling him something, like, "Hey, 1B, 2B, like, hey, go there, go." I don't know, and
You
but
were
I'm
going to
like,
get the admins to check him.
yeah, check him PC or something because I'm telling you, like, sometimes I'm like, he's shooting hard, he's doing this crazy Jesus spoken calls that I don't even know how he's calling it sometimes, and yeah, there is that. So
But in terms
yeah,
of Krabeni, do you feel like that's like obviously you explain here how teams kind of back off, give you a little bit map control. Do you feel like Krabeni is very in tune with also the mental of the other side with his calling? Uh, because it sounds like he's also reading that you are feeling as an individual, that players are backing off and he's finding the right calls to maybe abuse that in a sense.
I think he's doing it, but not as much as he should. But it's the experience, right? I like. I think he will do it so much better in the future. But
Okay.
he's doing it now. But of course, I think with the upcoming tournaments, I think in a year he will be a beast. I think no one will be able to
Okay.
stop him. Like he's feeling the calls. He's working a lot. He's putting the work in. He's working with the coach, with the staff. He's trying to fix mistakes. Like he's very good in every aspect.
That's very cool to hear.
So you come into the grand finals. It's revenge time again after Pro League. You probably should have smashed them 3-0. You were rolling them so confidently in every game. Map 1, 13-5 Ancient, 13-5 Mirage, 13-3 Dust 2. You probably should have won Nuke as well. And you definitely have a better map pool than Astralis in a best of 5.
It was probably the most dominant, apart from NRG game, second most dominant game of your tournament.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The thing is, like I feel against Astralis, I don't know, like especially because they beat us in Pro League in such a fashion that like we lost it by ourselves. Like we knew one, they can't beat us individually. Like sadly, there is just no possible real way unless we are all five sick, and 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 like just the brain is not functioning. And yeah, I think there was that. Like everyone was so confident in each other, especially because we beat the favorites, Mongols and Parivision, like that. And I think that was the most important thing. Like after we beat Mongols and Parivision, I think everyone knew we won the tournament. Like at least in our team, I think everyone knew when we got to face Astralis, when we got into the grand final, and we know it's them. I think everyone knew we will win this because we were for sure we will take the revenge, and we knew that they are scared of us, especially because they had so many close calls in the groups with so many bad teams, but we didn't. I mean, we had only the first game against Inner Circle, and then in playoffs with Bait, but I'm not gonna call Bait such a bad team, right? They still have some changes, but they still do play good CS, and they have some good things on the side. But Astralis, they had an easy bracket. They had some easy groups, and if anything, it should have been different. Like it should have been a bit, you know. But it didn't happen, and it was the mental edge. Like we knew we faced the hardest teams. We won 2-0, 2-0. We didn't drop a map, and they had to struggle with bad teams, and we knew it from there. Like there is no way we lose this. No way.
I have a bit of a different question. Maybe this is a bit reaching out, but in terms of like PGL Bucharest, who are the teams that you think, if you would pick three teams that really impressed you, even if they went 1-3, maybe they impressed you in this tournament, which three teams would that be for you?
I mean, first is focus for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it has to be, and especially after I saw Jorko with the elbow punches and stuff. Like, man, I felt that passion through the roof, and I was like, man, I feel so bad for him, and I was feeling the same, sometimes. So, hats to them. They have real passion on that lineup. I like it. I think the second team, it was eyeballers, to be honest. I'm so happy for JW, man. Like
Yeah.
seeing players like JW coming back to the top and smashing young folks like us. It's good to see. It's refreshing because he still has the trash talk in him. He still has the old vibes. I like that. Like
Yeah.
I want to see that in games. Like people still need to catch up from him until he retires because it's not good if he leaves. Like we need that. We still need that from Swedish players. And let me think of a third team. But can this be like impress me, but in a very bad way?
Yeah, sure.
It has to be FaZe. Like what they have done, I don't know. I
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll probably talk about them more in just a little bit, but it's it's one of the biggest free falls. We've talked about it like pretty much every episode for the past like 4 or 5 episodes, where it's just like been the biggest free fall. You know, you've looked through. I mean, even their like win rate. If you remove Belgrade as a tournament from their like system, they had like 4 wins the entire year, and it's sad to see.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, for me as a upcoming player, right, seeing an Orgas FaZe going down with the other old orgs who dropped out of CS, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Because of course I'm happy to play in FUT, but in the end of the day, like these were the orgs everyone were looking up to play in, right? Like these were the orgs who kind of made us play CS. Like everyone was imagining for sure when everyone was 14, 15, I was imagining myself in FaZe shirts, in Navi shirts, in Virtus Pro shirts, in all kind of sorts, right? And I think everyone
I
did it.
I remember when I was like playing casually before I was a pro. I remembered my favorite tag that I would have in game was Fnatic.msi. That was my absolute favorite. And I ended up playing for them. But did you have like a certain like team like when you were younger that you would look up to, and I was like, this is the tag that I want to, like, this looks so cool. Uh, which one would that be?
Sadly, it's FaZe. I have to be honest. Sadly,
Yeah.
it's FaZe. Yeah, like FaZe was and still is, but not now for sure. But FaZe was like one of the orgs I was looking up to, like getting the chance to play with karrigan and these guys, learning from them. Because I always said, like for me, the most important thing in our young careers is to learn from the old guys who are about to retire because they have so much experience and so much things you can learn from them that no one will teach you. And if you don't get the chance to speak with them at least once, for even 1 hour, then you might not ever learn about this kind of stuff, and you might have to find it the hard way. And I always try to get into touch, not only like known players, right? Like even less known players, like even Romanian pros from 1.6. I always tried to get their advice when I was younger, get to know how to work, how to do in life, how to deal with stuff, because it's very important for a young mind to get different opinions and ideas from older people. And I don't think a lot of kids are doing it, and it's a bad thing.
Is that the Elder Gods or what were they named?
It's yes, it was the Elder Gods and Earthquake.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I still have some memories of
Yes.
Romanian CS
Yes.
teams.
Let's talk a bit about when you get the win, when you get the trophy. What was that moment like for you? I remember talking to you after the grand finals, and then I spoke to you on Instagram. The next morning, you messaged me again, and you finally you realized what happened. It hit you.
I think that's how it felt for me as well. First time I won like a big tournament, it just felt in the moment you don't realize it. You just go back, and after a while, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, yeah. But it was unbelievable because again, I feel after so many hardships I've went through my career and so many fights and battles, like people don't even know about these struggles. And I think some of the struggles I'm gonna make public, but I think when I'll be 25 or close to 30, because this stuff is implicating a lot of pro players from Romania also, who kind of fucked me a bit in the back, and it kind of made things even worse. But I don't want to hurt anyone when we play, so I want everything to retire, and then we can spill the beans out, make a book maybe about the struggles of a professional player. Because I'm telling you, like in 21 years of life, I feel I've went through much more things than a guy at 40 have been through, and it's not okay. But I'm happy I handled it, and I've matured so fast, and I got good people around me that kind of saved me from shit, because it was a very very bad road. Very bad.
So when you like win this tournament, is the emotion kind of, obviously there's a euphoric sense and feeling when you realize everything, but you also explain these like sad parts in your journey that you feel kind of in combination with this. Is that correctly explained, or
Yeah. Like it hits me 10 times as harder. Like
yeah,
even now when I think about it, like I don't want to think too much about it and talk, because like I start to feel like crying.
yeah,
But it
yeah,
was the same. Like I had the interview with the HLTV guy, bro, and I just couldn't talk. I couldn't do an interview speech because I like when he started asking me, "How do you feel?" and stuff like this, I was just instantly crying.
yeah. It's beautiful though. The sad parts with the good parts in some sense.
Yeah,
When you look back at your playing career and what you went through, does it make it all worth it now?
totally, totally. But even now, man, like, oh,
Okay, we have to like go away from the emotional talking. See, it's really emotional.
Thinking about all the things you have been through, the things we spoke about off camera, and there's obviously a lot to unpack here.
There's a huge beauty in seeing you emotional like this.
I can change the subject and try and get a laugh out of him. He is the second ever player to use this mousepad to win a tournament, win a trophy using my mousepad. First is Messi, and now it's lauNX. Good company there.
I still have it.
It is there.
Damn, son. Damn,
I
son.
still got it.
And how does it feel that in FUT you have won the same trophy that Falcons has in their entire time span? They won PGL Bucharest 2025, and yours is more like, obviously with VRS we have to say that yours is more important because it's now, it's not before. Also, they didn't do this one with Monacy either, so with Monacy it's 0.
I mean, what can I say? It's I don't want to say too much because, bro, like I played for them. I know the work. I know the guys. I'm still close with some of them, but yeah, I don't know. I guess money is not buying everything, is it?
But it must feel like incredible, because this is probably the most watched team in the CS space, no matter where they end up, because of how much they've invested. And to see you guys kind of push forward and push through that with, well, minimal investments in comparison, and hard work and dedication, it must still fill you with a sense of pride, even though, you know, maybe, the struggles of Falcons, it's obviously there, but you've done it another way, another route.
I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, it feels amazing, but for me personally, it feels even better because, again, I can't talk too much about it, but yeah, I mean, I can only say that I was supposed to play in the Falcons lineup, and in the end, uh, for specific, I think, no reasons, they decided to keep someone else, which I don't condemn. It was expected. I can't say anything about it. But for me, I mean, on a personal level, it feels good that now we are ranked above them. I won a tournament because, of course, I had some talks with the guys that are still in Falcons to this day. I can share the names, and they were not happy about the decisions that I'm about to get kicked or like removed and sold. Like some people still wanted me on the lineup, active people now, but it just didn't happen because of the management. So yeah, there's that. I'm happy, and I really want to face them, and it will be even better if we do it in the major. But in 1-0 to 0, I don't think we'll face them in elimination games because we won't be there. But they have to see.
I love that. I love that.
That's actually brilliant. And okay, we talked about everything. Obviously, you have been doing tournaments and you've been grinding so much since the beginning of the season. Coolio has finally given you a week off. First week off. And I, first of all, appreciate you coming on the podcast. But what are you going to do in this week off? I know you like going outside, you like
Yes.
hiking, nature, and being away. And I don't mean this in a rude way, but you are way older than your age. Your mindset is way beyond your years.
I mean, many people told me this, and it's not only you from CS. It's like people who had no thing about CS at all, and they just meet first time to some close friends, like from real life, and they just tell me like, "Hey, like, there's no way you're 20." And I tell them, "Yeah, I'm 20," but it's because again, like I had to live so much bad stuff and so many situations. Like I'm telling you, like everything that can happen in a people, like in a human life, in a bad way, it happened to me. Like health wise, money wise, friend wise, like everything, it fell down on me on one side, and I was alone in a pit. Luckily, my mom and my girlfriend, kept pushing me. I had the power, the ambition, and I kept pushing.
Really paid off for you.
Totally.
What's the plan for a lauNX week off of enjoyment?
I mean, for sure, today and tomorrow, I'll just sit at home, relax, because I just, like, right before I went to Bucharest, I had to move in a new apartment because I had some problems with the landowner. She had to move in, like, urgently, some family issues. I don't want to get in about it, but I had to move in a new apartment. And now I have to kind of clean everything, make it more cozy, and set it up all right. So when I leave for America, my girlfriend can be here without any issues. And then, yeah, probably the next days I'll go out, not sit in front of the computer. And in the weekends, when my girlfriend is free, for sure, we'll go via Ferrata, probably short hikes on something because I can't do a lot of long hikes in the winter because, as I said, I lost a lot of kilos in my past, and because I lost a lot of kilos in the winter, it's so hard to hike because we go like 20-25 kilometers with a lot
Yeah.
of elevation. It's so hard for my stomach, and it will make it even worse for me health wise when I go to tournaments. So I prefer to keep it on a low level but constant enough just to keep my mental sharp and ready for tournaments. And in summer, I will do whatever I want. I can go hike 30 kilometers. I don't care because it's summer. It's not extra pressure from the snow.
The next events coming up is the Americas Tour, Blast Rivals, then you're going to Atlanta after that, then the Major, which is the last event of the first part of the season. And rivals, you've got Vitality, Navi, Furia, Astralis, yourselves, G2, FaZe, and Gamer Legion. Then in Atlanta, you've got Vitality, Navi, and you guys as the big three teams. So what are your expectations right now that you've won your very first tournament? What does that change for you, if anything?
Nothing. I don't think it's changing nothing. I think we want to keep it to the same plan because, as I said in the beginning, I think everyone is thinking the same. We won only one tournament. We have much more work to do in this career. And again, we have Vitality to face. It will be the big challenge. And I think on a personal level, I just want up to put up a good fight. Of course, if we win, I will take that. God bless, like give it to me. But yeah, on a real side, I just want to put up a good fight. I want to show the world we can fight against the best team in the world by far. Because I think against the other teams, we already showed we are capable of fighting them.
I think it's one of the biggest kind of maybe unspoken traps that you can come into as a young team that starts getting success is, even I know everyone says we have to keep our feet on the ground, stay humble, but expectations kind of naturally do rise. And with that, I think generally you see an increase in frustration from young players, especially when things don't go bad or go the right way. Do you think that that is going to be anything relevant for this team, or do you think that you've talked about it enough to kind of set yourself the right path in terms of dealing with that?
I think yes, we talked already, but I'm not gonna let it happen.
Yeah.
Like I think because like I think I told everyone at least twice already. Because again, I don't want to push it too much because they will think I'm crazy in the head. But I'm trying to remind them, like when they're alone, when I have some sneaky time with each and one of them alone, I'm trying to remind them, like, hey, bro, I'm just telling them, like, hey, don't leave me, man. Like, you're way too good for this. Like, hey, keep staying here, like, keep pushing, but keep working. And I keep telling like don't do that, don't do my mistakes because I don't want to see them anywhere near close at what I've been, right? Like I just want to see them skyrocketing through the roof so I can't even see them. I want them to go full fast to the top, even with me or without me. I don't care. I just want to see them succeed because I got so used to them and I got so nice with them and I fucking love these kids so much. Even if I'm fucking 21, it's not a big difference, but they feel like they're my kids.
You say with or without you. My view from the community's perspective, and many in the community say they would want you guys to stay together. And I've not only spoken to you, but people around your team as well. And everyone is saying the same. Does it not worry you now that someone will come in and now might try to sign one of your players?
The only problem for me is about because I mean we all know that I think somehow maybe 1 year, because I think for sure this year Vitality won't make a change. But let's say in a world like one of us will play extremely good on the position, right? And then Vitality wants to make a change for some reason, someone will want to drop off, or I don't know. Can be everything. It's CS. Anything can happen in this life. Then of course I Vitality will come for one of us. Like we all know, like no one will say no. And even the org knows it, the coaching staff knows it, and everyone understands it. But again, I think but even then, like Falcons is not even Falcons with all the money in the world, like with unlimited money, like not even them can buy it because everyone realized how good we can be together. And I think they already know that in these older lineups with older people, like people are just crazy in the head, man. Like they don't have real expectations. They expect you to do extremely good from the get go, and they don't want that. They feel way too good together. Of course, they won't go to an old senile team with people who want instant win trophies when they want to grow up and be fun and have a lot of fun together. It's normal.
No, I mean, apart from just, I don't even think I've congratulated you properly for the win at Bucharest,
Thank
and
you.
I think not only that, but congratulate you guys for playing, a high octane, entertaining Counter Strike that I feel like older generation, the more theory you drive into things becomes less and less common. So I really appreciate being able to watch that kind of Counter Strike. So a thank you as well.
Yeah, it's good to see people like you guys say this kind of stuff to me because when I came back to Nexus, when they rescued me from this Revenant situation, like my main plan, it was either with a national lineup or international lineup. I want that passion back in the game because when I was on the bench and I was seeing all these up and coming players being, like, I'm gonna say it, but everyone is dead, depressed inside, no emotion, no feeling, no personality. I don't want to see that. Like if we look now, 1.6 clips like from 15 20 years ago, like I've got some highlights, like they were almost fighting each other when they were winning around, and
Yes.
now we can't even scream like some bad words to each other. Like I don't want this to happen. Like we need to keep the players, the CS players, the same way. We need to be the same because that's why the
We're not
game went.
Valorant yet.
we should never be. Like this is our trait, and I think that's why CS was always one of the biggest, if not the biggest, watched game in the esports, because we are this explosive character. We are real human beings. We show passion. We show emotion, and you showed us first in 1.6 and older generations, and we need to continue doing it, not stop.
So it's time to get to your questions. And the first question we have is from Broken Tree. And he says, questions for lauNX. Hope 2 questions is all right.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how important is team chemistry for a successful game? Would a team with weaker individual skill but greater team chemistry fare better against a team with really good individual skill but clashing playstyles? In a time where fans speak as if a roster change is the solution to any problem, I would like to hear from someone who's been a part of many teams and is now on a team where the other 4 have only really played with each other.
I mean, I think the best example is it's Falcons. Like you can have the best players in the world on the paper, they can shoot the hardest in the world on their positions, but it's not enough because I can see it from a mile away. They don't like each other for sure, and that's the sad reality. Like I can see it from a mile away, and I think every normal human in the end can see that they don't get along with each other. I don't know who and what is happening, but you can see it totally. And yeah, for sure, a team with less skilled opponent. I mean, of course, it's not like you can take the 5 best friends of a matchmaking pub and put them against Falcons because it won't work. But
Yeah.
if you have like some decent enough players
Within a
with
professional
yes,
context.
yes, exactly. Then yeah, for sure, most of the time, I mean, 99.99% of the time, the team chemistry will win. But if somehow all 5 players in the team have a bad day, then of course the better players will win because yeah, it's expected.
The second question he has for you is FUT is becoming known for an aggressive playstyle. Watching your games, I notice sometimes it really pays off, but other times it's an unnecessary loss. Not to reveal all your strategies, but are you working towards identifying when you make these plays and when to be more tactical? Or do you guys plan to just continue making these plays and hoping it pays off?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. We won't stop doing it because it's one of our secret weapons, and why should we stop using it? Because it's a hell of a good weapon, surprising the opponent. But we are working on it every time, every theory we have it, every time we throw, every situation with advantage people we are losing. We always identify the problem, the tiniest problem. We try to look why it happened, like why did you pick, like what did he say to made you pick? Because sometimes maybe it's not even his fault. Maybe it's not his fault because he picked. Maybe it's my
No?
bad because I told him to pick, and then it goes to both. Like maybe it's the bad
Teammates can
stuff.
also
Yeah,
make you look shit, you know?
yeah, that's the problem, and not many people think about it. But yeah, we are working on it, but we won't stop doing it because this is one of our key strongholds, and not only for the team but for each individual. Each individual, like we can all pop off, we can all do crazy plays, push through smokes, and do taps and sprays. So yeah, we are just working it to keep it on a controlled level.
The next question is from Nolito. Do you think there's any psychological link between embracing visible self-expression like tattoos and being willing to fully commit to a non-traditional path like esports? Was pursuing a conventional career ever something you considered?
It's basically saying is the crazy people
know.
that have tattoos.
Yeah.
There's a link
I
there.
I kind of I understood anyway because like in Romania usually kids ask me this, like younger children, right? They ask me this because it's being a trend now with the us teenagers to get a shit ton of tattoos, right? So why not? They're cool. For me, it's more of art. Like I really like tattoos. For me, it's like an art you paint on the body. So here's that. People can see however they want, but that's how I see it. Um, but I mean, I don't think there is any real connection, probably, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any real connection with the tattoos and playing CS. To be honest, no, it's just something you want to
Maybe
do.
there's just like a higher percentage of crazy people having tattoos compared to
Probably, but I think in CS, and this is a real fact. At least that's how I see it. I think some people do get tattooed also for the how should I for the PR, for the media side, because I'm telling you,
yeah.
when tournament organizers do photo and videos, they will mainly prioritize the tattoo guys, right? They want to, like, with Albania, you do the Albanian thing, you have tattoos, it's insane. Everyone will love it. It's the same for every country. If you have some specific symbol and you have tattoos, they will try to use the tattoo to market. and it's smart in a social media-ish way. If you think about it, yeah, people do it, and if you like it, then why not do some good
Right.
art on you?
Off the back of that second part of that question, have you ever considered having a normal career outside of esports?
Funny thing is, before starting playing CS, I was so close into joining the army. Like, yeah, I wanted to go to the army high school in Romania when I finished 8th grade. But then I watched this Kenya's clip. It was the Kenya's clip. I think it's on Cluj-Napoca, the one with the major player profiles with Kenya's. It was, I remember it. And then I watched the one with Pasha. And after watching them together with my mom, I remember I told her before going to school, it was like 7:30 a.m. I told mom, I want to be a professional CS player. I will do it for you, mom. I just told her like this in Romanian, and she was looking at me laughing at that time because she thought I'm crazy. And she was like, "Yeah, I will truly believe in you, and I'll support you, and I will endorse you in whatever you do." And she did it, so it paid off. But only army was in my head.
Cool. We have a question from Thermocos1. What's the feeling of having Krabeni as your IGL, and what does he bring to the team? You kind of answered it throughout this podcast, but maybe you can summarize a bit.
Yeah, I mean, on a game wise, I feel I'm playing with a cheater. If I have to say, if I have to say about game wise, like he's very sharp aim wise. He has perfect calls. He's a very hardworking guy. He's constantly trying to work on his flaws and on the team flaws, which is a good side of a captain. He's trying to fix the team and himself, so that's good, especially because he's young and he has it. And I don't know. He's such a cool guy. Like I laugh a lot with him. He's making like crazy jokes, but at the same time, he has this. I don't know. I think it's Albanian personality, but man, I don't know. It's sometimes he's tough as a rock. I tell him he's going so harsh on this. On sometimes DNA or symmetry when they mistake and when they do mistakes, and I'm telling him like, hey man, like calm down, like don't fight them soon. But he's very nice man in any possible way. Heads down to crab man.
And lastly, we have Skorga, who always writes in a question. Skorga says, while not quite the oldest on the team at 20, how do you handle being the experienced one in the run-up to the major as the only major veteran on the team? Points to Banks and Devwalk if they can remember which team and major you made it on. I'm sure they can easily, as the pros they are. It's the Rio Major. I was there with B&E, and you were playing for Sprout.
I would not have gotten the major itself, but I would have definitely guessed Sprout as the team.
Rio Major. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Crazy experiences I had.
I mean, you talked about this, hyping, talking to the guys. How do you handle being the experienced one? You've told them about
Yeah, but
not
I
doing
don't.
the same mistakes as you, or you don't want them to end up in that way.
Yeah, but I like it has nothing to do with the major because I thought about transferring to the major team, but I don't
Yeah.
feel like I'm coming. I don't care about it. Like I'm happy I got my sticker again. I'm happy the guys got their sticker in the game for sticker. Many more to come, you know. But I'm not thinking like, oh, it's the major. Like again, is the major. I don't think it's that much.
Well,
And
maybe
if
you can
anything,
share some what was your
I swear I have
experience?
nothing. I swear I have nothing from it. Like we won against who it was. Oh
But
yeah, we.
even emotionally going into the major, didn't you feel like in a certain special
Oh
kind of
no,
way?
I was scared the shit out of me. I was so pressured and I was so scared of my life. I had no clue what was happening there, and that's why it was such a bad major individually for me because I was so scared of like just scared of fucking up, basically. Yeah, it was 084, 086. I will always remember it. It was not good. It was not pleasant. I played very good in the RMR for it, but in the major itself, I was pooping the floor. It was not good. But that's what, like, at least for me, I feel I gain much more confidence and calmness and maturity from real life experiences and what I've done in real life than CS. I mean, of course, playing tournaments and stuff is, yeah, okay, nice. But in the end, who lived the real life a bit, like, like it has nothing to do with real life situations. Like when it comes down to actually fighting for your life, like it was the same in Mountain. I will share a story if I can. I
Of
was on the
course.
I was on the mountain with my girlfriend. We did like 2 peaks, and then we went back. We hiked for like I think 8 hours. It was the ninth hour when we decided to go back on a circuit route. And I remember I saw the storm, like there were like all the peaks on the mountain. I remember I saw the storm, and I told her like, there is no way it can go across the peak and come over to us, right? And she was like, no, no, no way. And we were just like chilling, moving around. And I'm not even kidding. Like 30 minutes when we went down to the peak, it was a valley like this, right? In the mountains like this, and we were going down. We were in the middle of it, and in like 30 minutes, the sky was completely black. Like there were like hailstorm with the size of these balls on the mountain. I was seeing, I never saw this in my life, and I didn't know it's possible, I swear. On the mountain I could see from each peak there were like waterfalls coming down in the valley in the middle where we were, like everything was flooding up. And I was looking and I was like, hey, like we need to run. And like the terrain was like rocks, like this rocks, like rocks this big, like you couldn't run on it. It was wet, and we hiked like 4 hours through the mountain, and then 1 more hour 30 to the forest with a hailstorm on our ass. And that was the time I felt like real danger to my life. And I think from that moment on, like my brain kind of turned off. I don't have any emotion in the game when I play. Like I don't feel pressure. I just can't feel it anymore. I'm not feeling scared anymore. I don't feel scared to go and die in the game, because I already felt something in real life. And I think that kind of gives me the advantage a bit in many situations.
I remember exactly where I was when that happened. I was with B&E in the practice rooms. When we looked out the windows, it was crazy.
But it was now.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Rio.
It wasn't in Rio.
No.
We had this in Rio during the major. We were in the practice rooms and the weather went from lovely, all nice to chaos outside. We were with the guys, bruv.
No. It was less summer in Romania when I hiked one of my like the second highest peak in this chain of mountains in Romania where I hike. It was crazy.
It was a bad omen.
Yeah.
We got eliminated by Navi. I thought you were talking about Rio.
I should have said it's in Romania. I should have explained maybe in the beginning. But yeah.
I got it.
One final question I'm going to add, because you got Troshu now as the assistant coach for the team. He's been with you since Cluj-Napoca. Has he been with you guys since then?
I mean, we kind of started working him from Krakow off the scenes. Like he was doing prep. Like he was still working with Falcons, but they kind of made an agreement,
Yeah,
Falcons
something
and
like
FUT. And because he's such a maniac and hardworking guy, he was doing prep for Falcons and for us in the same time. Like he was doing prep for both teams in the same time. Like like he did it right. They were not were they in Krakow?
Falcons was there at Krakow, right?
Yeah, they have been actually. Yes, they have been. And I remember like he was doing entry for us and for them at that time a bit. And then when the Krakow ended, we signed him because that's how the deal went. Krakow is finishing and you get him, okay? But he's bringing so much impact to the team. Like he's unbelievable. Like I don't know, like you can feel he has the Tier 1 experience because not only with Falcons, but he also worked with the likes of Ents a long time. And I can see the experience. Like he's bringing Tier 1 input into the team, and this makes it even better because now you have a guy. Like I think it's very good to have someone in the staff, like coaching staff, who was actively in Tier 1 for the last years of his life. Because one, he's used to the current Tier 1 meta, and two, he knows how to handle it. Like he just played for Falcons. If somehow we play Falcons, I would just lay like this on my back at theory, and I let Max speak. I will just let Troshu speak. Just like spill the beans. Like tell me what they play, their tendencies, everything. Yeah, but he's very good. I think he's one of the best in the market right now, and I hope no one will come after him.
After how I know him and what I heard he does, I feel it would be a good fit for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, but like that's the thing. If you would stay with us a day in a prac day, especially in boot camp, for example, because in boot camp it's even crazier when we're next to each other. Like you would not feel it's a team. You would feel, I swear, it's like a friendly pack. And I'm saying it because not only that we speak like friends, like no joke, the jokes we make and the way we talk to each other, it doesn't even feel like a job. Like if you would tell someone we are really working, they will say no way they speak like this because we're friends in the end. We're like brothers. We're just hanging out, like making fun of each other. Like why not? And it's the same with Max, because he's a bit older than us and he has a lot of experience in his head. Like everyone is listening to him, and but I want to make it clear because I don't want people to think that he was not being listening Falcons, because I don't want to to put bad crosses into Falcons and him. from our side, I think we're much more open to his stuff than Falcons. But I know Falcons were also open, but of course they have different perspectives of seeing stuff. Yeah.
And also, do you feel for right now, it seems that you are getting a lot more love from the Romanian community again? How does that feel?
I mean, of course, I love it, but in the end, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel the Romanian community is one of my biggest and one of my one of the best things and not the worst things, because I need to be realistic. And I always said it on my streams. The Romanian people were the ones who got me up into the scene, and they were the ones who tried to bury me down into the scene. Literally, honestly speaking, they tried to bury me in the ground. No joke, with facts like lies and rumors, and no one told me anything. And I had to find out from different foreign players from tier 1, tier 2 about these lies in events, or like the straight up phone calls at 2 a.m. in the fucking night, like just you know. And yeah, I mean, I love it, but in the same time, I can't forget what happened, because a lot of lies has been spread about me on Twitter, on live streams, on HLTV posts, and no one asked me anything. Like, no one knew anything about me at all in real life, but everyone was assuming that I'm doing the craziest possible stuff. And I might have done it, but not the way people said it. Like, people took it to a way that it made me look like I'm some, New York homeless guy. And it was not like this, like, honestly. And I don't like it, not only with me, but this goes the same for every people. I don't think anyone should go through such kind of stuff. Like, you should never lie about anyone's past or future. If he done it, okay, let him do it, but at least speak the full facts. Don't shove dirt in his mouth for no reason.
A lot of us have this on HLTV threads, Reddit. They act like they all know you.
Oh, what do you mean? He's the biggest man I've seen. He took his pants when he won a tournament. He's the biggest man we've seen in CS community. So
it's like Devil Walk. He likes to wear women's clothing.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? Show some cojones yourself, Banks. Where's your pants drop on stage?
We win the major, I swear. If I win the major and you'll be on the interview, we will say it now and we'll remember for sure about the FUT. If we win, when you take the interview, just take the pants part of us off. Yep. Yep. No one will understand anything, but only us three and the guys watching the podcast.
Do a devil
that would
walk,
be great.
man.
I will commit to that. I'll be down. Just drop them down.
100% of people who have promised to take their pants off if they win the major have won the major.
But I mean, I promise now I'll take my pants off if I do it. But how should I do it? Like, should I rip it off, or like how do I? Yeah, okay.
Just
okay.
Boss it.
But I thought the devil like ripped them off.
No, I just dropped them.
I thought you ripped them off. Okay.
I'm not that strong.
Like, that's how, I don't know, that's how I had it in the back of my head. Like, I knew he did it, but in the back of my head, he was just like, like.
We just talked about this. Now this is how forum posts start.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is going to be the biggest news on Twitter after the release. If lauNX wins the major, he's going to take his pants off.
Then I'm going to have to do it.
Yep.
The rest of the team are just going to look at us crazy.
Yep. Man, they won't say anything because they know I'm crazy. Like, they would say, like, hey, normal day in the office. Let him do his job.
So lauNX, thank you so much for joining us after winning Bucharest and learning so much more about your career. It was absolutely wonderful to just learn more about you as well. Lastly, is there anything else you want to say?
I mean, no, of course, I feel in PGL, like, I think it was also PGL requesting me to do it because, I probably, me being Romanian, and yeah, so it has to be a correlation. But I always told them, like, they should take the interviews because it's helping their image and it's helping them speak more open to the public because, yeah, like, we win a tournament on stage, you have to speak in front of everyone. What will you say? Like, hey, thank you. Good. Okay.
It's good practice.
We need to be strong speeches. I want to see them speaking good. And thank you for having me, by the way.
It was our pleasure entirely. Thank you so much. I felt I've got to know you a little bit more, and I feel like every time we get a guest on, I feel like I root for that person and that team even more, just because you gain some extra kind of sense of the personality. You definitely showed your personality here today. And again, I want to thank you for joining us, but also for continuously showing your way and your style of Counter-Strike and I'll be rooting for you in the coming tournaments.
Thank
So
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
So an amazing guest, a lot of insight, and we did just talk to him off camera before we let him go to discuss the fact that he will come on to do a proper all about lauNX because he has such an interesting story, interesting career history, his mindset. Like, there's very few players that interest me as much as they do him, you know? And I'm not even talking about the game side, I'm talking about out of game side as well.
But it's also
just,
that he's so raw and unfiltered
yeah.
in a way that you get, dragged along into his story in a different
But
way.
he does also hold himself back without going too far. You know, there's some things he wants to say, but he's smart enough to know when he should reel it in, which is something we can definitely appreciate for him, for sure.
Yeah.
So what we need to continue doing here, and it's not going to be too crazy long, but we'll be looking at PGL Bucharest. Obviously, we already spoke about FUT's journey. So FUT has been done by lauNX himself. But let's start going through this. So FaZe is the first one. We're going to come into the karrigan news a little bit later on. But FaZe obviously default lost 2 games because they weren't at the event. Then they played Inner Circle, lost 0-2. I'm not surprised they lost 0-2, bro, because you just probably stepped off a plane in sometime middle of the night after losing the major, losing the dreams, not sure what the team's going to do. And then you're supposed to try and save yourself from elimination in another tournament. There's no real surprise there. People going, oh, they lost to Inner Circle so bad. Guys, have we seen their whole career, like this year results? This isn't crazy.
No, it's not crazy, but it's still crazy. Like,
overall,
it's but you have to, like, even if all those circumstances, tune in, it's still a 0-2 game they're playing.
Yeah.
They're playing the easiest game in the entire tournament, so to speak.
Yeah. But just
so
your mentor wasn't going to be there. Your mentor was never
no,
going
I
to be there.
get that, but they
yeah.
at the same time, it's FaZe. They should be able to pick themselves up. There's so many experienced professional players in there that I feel like you can still kind of criticize them losing a 0-2 game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's do then looking at next team, Voca, American side that came on in, obviously Semphis, coach for the team. They lost to NRG in a domestic matchup. When you lose to NRG in the opening game, it is already going to be quite hard. And they obviously did have a substitute player anyway, play across the tournament for them. Then you go into 3D Max. You play with still the substitute player coming in there. You're going up against the 3D Max, who is playing obviously above that level. I will say, I know I predicted at one point BC Game to make playoffs. I'm a little bit delusional on that. I just said that could be the sneak one. We'll come into that later. But even the fact they took a map from BC Game is still something they can be impressed with. There's still notably good players on that team who are trying to grind and go forward. So obviously going out in last place isn't what this team wants. But I mean, for them, it's more just the experience gaining, surely.
Yeah, no, I think so. It's probably just an opportunity for them. They even picked up a map against 3D Max, which we should probably say is impressive to kind of bounce back from NRG loss into picking up the first map, making it close even on the third map of Ancient, bring it to overtime. So even though they went 0-3, I think there's more positives to take from it than negatives for them. I don't think
100%.
anyone expected them to make a run towards playoff.
No.
As you said, it was just to gather experience and kind of move on.
Yeah. Next, we'll stay with the Americas because sadly NRG also went out. Well, we were both a bit more positive about NRG, right? And especially the fact they would have had some time since Rotterdam to get Grim into some better positions. I'll be honest, I didn't watch any of the NRG games. I was very limited on my time of doing this stuff. But like, they beat the domestic matchup in Voca. They lost to FUT. They lost to Eyeballers. They lost to Legacy. The problem I have here is not getting maps. And obviously they got absolutely destroyed by FUT. Then it was at least closer on the first map of Nuke against Eyeballers, but Eyeballers has a lot of positives to say. And then Legacy kind of ran them over as well.
Yeah,
and
that's the scary part.
Well, the thing
because
is, I put Legacy
they
a lot
looked
higher.
competitive before Grim was added, and now it's like they've almost lost a little bit of their charm, weirdly enough.
But would you not put still Legacy like quite a way above them Like, I'm not going to hold it against them. I would have just liked to have seen them. They didn't even need to win a map for me. They just needed to have some fight in them, because you should know, playing in the Americas region, what it's like to play against some of the South American teams.
Yes, I mean, it's a weird one. I was quite disappointed by NRG. I'll be honest. I thought, a few tournaments back, even before they added Grim, I thought I saw some potential in them there. Obviously, adding Grim should, on paper, give them more experience. It should give them more firepower. It should kind of give them at least a chance against some of these teams. Um, but it's as you say, like picking up 5 rounds against FUT, picking up 12 rounds against Legacy.
Yep.
Um, it's too uneven. It's not consistent with their performances, because even if they're playing, close against eyeballers, the next game they need to be able to make a map competitive,
Yeah.
at the very least.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, they haven't really gotten Grim into working.
I'll give them, like, on the beginning of after the major cycle, of how well they can make things happen, Like,
Yeah.
for me, it'll give him enough time to actually see how into everything he is. They didn't make the major, right, NRG? Well, they did make the major. Bro, I'm still so lost on who's in the major. Let me just look again. I want to make sure I'm not spitting any non-correct
they made
facts in
it?
here. Oh, NRG is in the major. Okay, they made it through the Americas. So obviously, stage one is a lot of South American teams. I would expect NRG maybe not to guarantee make it stage two, but have a fighting chance. That's what I want to see then, because that's now 2 months away from now. So me evaluating where they're at now, with Grim just coming in, and Grim supposed to be this upgrade, like you mentioned, then potentially of losing some of that momentum with obviously changing player. Cologne has to be where we see them punch forward. Because remember, they did pretty okay at Budapest, considering they were playing with a bloody coach. So I'm going to hold them to some higher standards coming into that, and it's an important one for him. That's how I look at it.
I'd agree with that assessment.
All right, next is Inner Circle. Do you know what? Inner Circle and Nip, just rewind, give Ken back to Inner Circle, who were on the rise with Ken, yeah, and change everything, because Ken's not having any success. Inner Circle's not having any success. They're 1-game win. Like, okay, you took a map from FUT, was the opening game. You took a map from Legacy. You got 2-0 by Bait, and then your only win was against the FaZe that probably would have beaten you had their major dreams not been ended. So
yeah, it's not great.
Rewind the clock. Go backwards.
Even though they beat FaZe, I'm not sure you're supposed to see that as an achievement in this year.
No.
So yeah,
it's very different. It's very different.
It's kind of bad, yeah.
Now, BC game, we can definitely have a conversation about, though, mate. You can get Mongols in the opening game, yeah? You pick Dust 2. You hear from Taz that they need more time to be together as a team, take that time. And I really like the Taz addition to this version of BC game and what he can bring and what he can help with. But I mean, this was diabolical. Like, Simple was only performing some of the time. Like, it's not, he is no longer the greatest player of all time. He was in CSGO. That's what he can have, right? He was in CSGO. But I mean, I've sat there as someone who, I like him as a person, as a friend, as like someone I spent so much time with during that rise. And I would agree, he's got phenomenal skills. We saw him grinding again. We saw his face at games go up and stuff. But this ain't working. This is like, he's not that same person anymore. And we've gone away from it. I think Striker put this probably the most beautifully I heard it, was like that, because he's not solo carrying games, and I am paraphrasing here, yeah, he now is not even enjoyable for some people to play with. Like, people don't want to play with him. And that's a saying. Like, it was such up and down performances from them. They lost to MIBR, which I think is unacceptable. They beat Voka, but still dropped a map there. And they lost 2-0 to Focus. Obviously, Focus is quite an interesting team. It's like a new age team coming up as well.
I even predicted them to get playoff.
I predicted BC Game to get playoffs, sadly.
No, I meant Focus this time.
Oh, okay. I thought we were
and
just
not
throwing
BC
shade at
game.
my.
That's kind of
Hey,
insanity.
that was my wild Hail Mary play of like, yeah, Simple can somehow do it again, especially because the field of Bucharest was quite weak. That I thought there was potential, but yeah. Do you know what? Like,
I could have
they're
had the
done.
perfect prediction if I just got like Focus. Oh, no, maybe I couldn't have. Actually. Well, I wanted Legacy to beat Bait,
Okay.
and Focus got mashed up against Eyeballer, so it was a little bit unlucky there.
Yeah. That's just the way it goes. You know, we didn't do simulation for this one. But I mean, for me, already the rumors are out that 2 players will be kicked from BC Game. People are just straight away, by the way, saying like it'll be Aragorn and Crazy, like they'll keep Mutiris. But I think it's 100% Mutiris is going to end up being kicked and someone else. Like
It
they'll kick
probably
the
is. I
IGL.
mean, it's evident that they don't really match up in their line of thinking. This has been like even kind of revealed in interviews that Materials has made.
Oh, you did? You read it? You say what I'm thinking about, yeah? Here I'm not the IGL. No, here I'm the IGL. I'm not the captain.
That is a prime example. I mean,
that's rough.
It's like you're gonna need an emotional captain if you're gonna kind of get Simple in and rolling and believing and not, because there's gonna be, comparably to any other player in the world, probably having Simple in the team is gonna have more ups and downs in your team's mood than probably any other player. Therefore, having an emotional leader, someone we talk about like Apex or karrigan, who are really, really good. Those are obviously elite examples, but having someone that at least has, a grain of those attributes is very, very important for a team that has Simple on it.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of shot himself in the foot by even mentioning that or even saying that.
It's probably he was in the emotional state though, right? When he was giving that interview, like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and also,
I agree with you though.
But they also, BC Game, are going to throw stupid money at this. And people, there was that thing that came out that like Simple tweeted, no way dummies believe that I have 120k per month. It's not even half of this. For him to be on 120k a month, he'd have to be streaming and also spinning on BC Game on their casino or whatever, right, at the same time.
But didn't also BC Games like CEO hint on like Magisk is not going to mouse ports?
Yeah. And like they made approaches to Dong to see if there was a number. Like they are willing to buy and take anything they can get, right, to try and make this work. But what is concerning is that it doesn't seem like Simple and Electronic are a pull for many players to be like, yeah, I want to play on that team. It's not 2022 anymore. It's not 2021.
Nope.
It's a long way from that.
And I don't think his kind of marketing period that Electronic had in VP does them any good either, because
shouting at players.
It doesn't look like a FUT family friendly environment.
Of course you have to do that. Yeah, it's not. And like, imagine even if you are maybe a young Ukrainian Eastern European player who really wants like a desperate jump up in your career, sure, maybe you might think about going for it because it's Simple, but I can't imagine many others agreeing to go into that right now.
No, I mean, it's I don't think it's not only from like a player's perspective. I think it's like even viewed from a coach's perspective, sounds like, some jobs you can get by you enjoy the people you work with, you enjoy like the environment and the fun that you have on the journey. I don't really see, if I would jump into that project, that I would have those feelings. Like it's a growth day by day kind of vibe. It's kind of what the negative parts about what lauNX mentioned in the pod earlier, where it's pressure to win now, get things done now. And is that really an environment you want to be in? Because that also means there's consequences for not bringing it now. And I
And if
think
you're not
that
given enough
scares
time,
people. Yeah, I think
look how
that
many
scares
times we
people.
say orgs, teams, players are not given enough time to build something for the long term to actually lift the trophies they want to lift. We have seen so many team changes happen where you would 100% argue that it wasn't that player's fault, and they're just doing it because they knee-jerk reaction to something, and that's a big problem. But let's see. They tried to buy their VRS points. If they only need to buy 3 more players to make some other VRS points, good luck to them. But like our next team I'm going to talk about, Focus, is even higher than them on the VRS right now. BC Game is 70th. Focus is 26th. Focus beat 3D Max in the opening game. Did lose to Paravision. The wildcard loss is not great either. Then they beat BC Game, and then they lost to Eyeballers.
But this
it
is
is an
an
interesting team.
incredibly young team with some interesting pieces. For me, what kind of like why I even predicted them in the first place? Obviously, they went to a LAN and they won it, right?
Yeah.
They won some qualifiers to even be in this position. But for me, I think one of the hardest matchups I've ever experienced, where I kind of know it's the coach who has had impact.
Yep.
Cuban is one of those coaches. Like, it's one of the toughest coaches I've played against in terms of mind games, in terms of prep work, where I've kind of felt like, oh fuck, he had me in this one. So I believe in Cuban a lot as a coach. I think he did wonders in that Norwegian org. What were they called? Apex. Thank you. I think he did wonders there. I'm surprised it has taken him kind of this long to
I'll explain
get
to
a
you
project going. Was it ENS he went to? Or?
Yeah, but I'll tell you why. People are stupid. People underestimate Cuban's ability so much. He is one of the most underrated coaches. And I'll say this about Cuban.
100%.
I know him personally as a friend. Yeah. When I spoke to him at JL's wedding, I've said this publicly before. He's got a very harsh way of dealing with players and a specific mindset on how he views the game. It is a good mindset, but if people don't buy into it, or the players don't work with it, or the organization like doesn't give it the time, he's not going to succeed. But his history after working with VP, when he finished his playing days, everything he's done as a coach, if I look at Mad Lions onwards, so Mad Lions, they had success. They grinded the rankings, even competing at some of the partner leagues where you had to get open qualifier spots, yeah? Did the same on Apex, plus leading them to a major. Was doing great work at ENTS, but then for some reason they didn't agree on things, and obviously Cuban is mature enough to just say, okay, you don't believe in it, I'll step away. He's done this time and time again. But if you get players that believe in him and an organization that believes in his vision and way of doing things, you will get winners and you will get players that can perform. And like ZTR and Volt are known quantities, but you've got Banjo, Jorko, Mafios. All of these guys will be able to flourish and thrive under him for sure. I think obviously JL had Blade next as his coach, right, which is a huge one. But Cuban did wonders for JL. Like, took him from Mad Lions to Apex, that got him the call up to Na'Vi, and they had such a good relationship. And JL was able to, and obviously again, it's both Eastern European mentality, but they were able to put that together and harness that on moving forward. Some players have to stop being so soft and so weak. Looking at our side of the pond, our Eastern.
No, but I agree. I think Cuban is one of the most underrated coaches out there. I think he's absolutely elite, and it's a guy that you just need to buy into his system. But I think that if there's like a few coaches that work in the way that Cuban, Blade, like very systematic, strategic. They will find consistency for your team. I think Cuban is in that category. I think it's like almost unbelievably underrated. But Focus, very interesting team. I am looking forward to see what they got going.
You nearly hit the jackpot. We're getting them through the playoffs as well. Nearly.
Yeah.
Legacy. Now, this is the team, Devilwalk, that disappointed me. This is where the disappointment starts. Because FaZe is one thing, but I had higher hopes in this field of teams against Legacy. You lost to Paravision, nothing wrong with that. You beat Inner Circle. Okay, you dropped a map, but I'll accept it because Legacy always drop a map, right? It's their style of play. You lose to MIBR, man. Like I'm not underrating MIBR, but Klim is. I still don't believe in this Klim guy. By the way, I'm still waiting for this fallout. Like MIBR need to cycle in a new player, and people are going to cook me for saying that because they're just going to look at numbers. But I'm not sold on him as being this like wow breakout player for it. Like you shouldn't be losing to MIBR. Then you beat NRG. Okay, it's nothing to shout home about. And then you lose to Bait without taking a map, and you did kind of get rolled on. And even Sizzy was performing really well there at the same time. Like for me, I'm not going to take this one event and be like harsh on Legacy, but this wasn't good enough. Like this was way beneath. Like for me, it was a must playoffs.
I mean, to some extent, I agree with you. I just have this view of Legacy where we're never, ever, ever going to see them be consistent. And that's going to be blimps and bumps with tournaments where they lose. But eventually, they wake up on the right side of the bed and they're going to destroy everyone. So I just have that view of Legacy.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I get it.
Still disappointing as a tournament as a whole. Like I agree with you there. I think they should be making playoff. I predict them to make playoff, and they fell out short. And it's that MIBR loss is probably the one that is gonna haunt them a little bit more than the others. Feel like this is a Swede comes in and brings MIBR glory. It's
kind of wild,
but it's such a grudge match matchup,
domestic one, yeah,
domestic matchup that they obviously want to win that one, and they obviously want to be perceived as one of the better Brazilian teams. So yeah, that one will sting. Like Bait, I'm kind of reevaluating Bait a little bit. I feel like they have picked up something, so
we'll
it's
come on to that after. We're not ready for the Bait talk. We're not ready for the Bait talk yet, but I just think that Legacy should be way above what we saw there, and it's just we're waiting.
They should definitely be punching in the 3-1 mark.
Yeah.
Overall in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Wildcard next. Wildcard find themselves losing to Bait, beating Focus, which was a legit win, right? But then losing to Mongols and Paravision 2-0. I don't think there's anything wrong with losing to Mongols and Paravision 2-0 and at least being somewhat competitive, right? Did you see the crazy Mirage overtime? I actually didn't watch the second map because the first map was so long. Like I had a limited window where I could do something. And then I looked at this and went, well, I guess I'm only watching Mirage. It was 28-26. It was embarrassing from Paravision, I'll be honest, to let it go like that. But I mean, it's just I thought once it goes to overtime, Paravision just win. Instead, we just kept going.
But it's a weird team to kind of evaluate their, because they obviously end up in the 2-3 bracket, but that's with a default win versus FaZe. That's where their second win comes up in. And they play some really close games against some really good opponents. I mean, even if you look at the Bait one, it was pretty decent. You look at the Mongols one, 13-11, 13-8. And obviously the Paravision one, 28-26, 13-11. They're competitive, but they still only really picked up one win. But I think overall, interesting lineup. It's kind of a European American mix. Hext being in there, someone I kind of felt like almost got robbed of a spot in M80. I thought they did good in that team. Obviously, a big talent like JB came out and they just had to pounce. But I still don't think, I think Hext kind of deserved a spot in how well they played in that team. So it's good to see him kind of back in a big tournament. And it's cool to see, this Paravision IGL of Nemanja. Zero Tenacity, not Paravision. But played a very annoying style. I remember them greatly. There was a lot of clashes with the B&E in the days.
And he's been grinding a lot, right? He's had, I don't know what teams, but I just remember hearing his name for a long time. He said 4 years on Zero Tenacity. He had that I Will stint as well before this. So he just plays a lot. He's an active guy. He's definitely trying to grind his way through on it. So it could be a shot for him. I know he's enjoying it at least. But my expectations, I think like this is probably, I would expect him in this category, you know?
I
This is
kind of
not
feel
like-
like it's almost reversed for me. I felt like NRG probably should have been more in the wildcard category in the reverse. I feel like wildcard kind of overperformed to some sense. I mean, by expectations, maybe I'm being harsh on saying overperformed. They performed really well, and I didn't expect them to perform this good against this tier of opponent so quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. But it's only one win. So I'm thinking of three. I'm just looking at it as 3-1 when you had very tough games.
Yeah.
It's like a good spot for him. Next is MIBR. Making playoffs is crazy. Making playoffs, and like they didn't have the easiest of runs. Like the wins they had were Eyeballers, who also made playoffs, Legacy, who we expected to make playoffs, and BC Game, while also playing Astralis and 3D Max.
Yeah.
I think for like LNZ, by the way, is someone I fully think can do well on this MIBR roster compared to what we had with the old kicker version. Yeah. I'm still like Insani English, no problem. But for Venom and for BRN, like I'm still waiting to understand if they can really adapt to this, because it's not they're not coherent in the same way. And then Klim, I'm still down on like he was just so overhyped, and this is nothing against him. I've said this before on the podcast, but he was so overhyped where I wasn't seeing what people were hyping up. And he can have a good rating when he's playing a lot of domestic South American teams, but he's not the solo carry player. It doesn't matter if he's 1.20, 1.10, 1.15 over and over again in all these games if you're losing everything. I don't see the same mechanical gift where he single-handedly wins you rounds.
But I also think that he's also a little bit, let's say, poorly marketed because of what happened in Budapest with their lineup. They were hyped and they looked absolutely terrible at that major.
You mean the one with kicker? Yeah.
They looked really, really, really bad. So I also think that kind of has shown a little bit of a bad light on him because of the terrible performances they had in that. And we kind of have to refresh our view of even him as a player, because it's obviously impressive to go 3-1 in this tournament. MIBR, they made the major, even with this kind of wonky base of players, you have to say, to some degree.
Yeah.
3 Brazilians, a Russian, and a Swede with a Serbian coach is it's an interesting mix. Let's just say that.
It's so odd. It's when you say it like that, it doesn't even sound like a pub joke. It just sounds nuts.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think Letney is more than capable enough to allow LNZ now to change things, but I'm hoping they also change the way they get Klim to do things in order to allow more ability for someone like Insani to shine as well.
I think so.
It can't be full focus of just playing around the AWPer and going.
Letney, for me, has always had a great understanding of CS.
Did you ever work with him or not?
Did I work with him?
Did he ever stand in for one of your teams or something? Because he's a stand-in master.
He might have trialed or helped out. I can't remember, but I do remember talking CS with him extensively for one bit.
I like him.
I think it was when we were in FPX or something, and we were even considering having him as IGL at some point. Either way, he's great at Counter-Strike, and he has great view of Counter-Strike. I like his view of Counter-Strike. So I have no doubts that he's also an incredibly hard worker. It's you cannot fault him for that.
Now, this is when we're going to change on to something so much more positive. We're going into your neck of the woods. We're going to your very soft country who had some hard Counter-Strike to play.
Soft country.
Because just on the back of what we were saying with lauNX. But they did not play soft Counter-Strike. JW don't play that soft Counter-Strike. This was legit. This run was so good. And okay, people can say they lost the Mongols and Astralis. They beat Focus, MIBR, NRG. Not the hardest to make playoffs, but they beat Astralis. They did beat Astralis. They just fumbled so hard when they were at the finish line. They were up 11-4 on Ancient. That's my diabetic alarm. They were up 11-4 on Ancient, and they sadly fumbled it.
Yep.
That was in their hands to 2-0 Astralis. Now, JW took a lot of that himself, said we couldn't close it out and they couldn't reset going into the last map. So they didn't actually beat Astralis. But this could have been one of those epic runs. That's going to hurt them, but it's a lot of learning experience.
They could have made finals for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but
I like it, man.
I love eyeballers. I think they have a lot of interesting pieces. Maxter obviously has
highlight?
Has so much star potential. I think this was a rough tournament for Bob XT, but he's normally one of their like absolute best players. So it's a little bit of a shame that he didn't get to show and highlight what he can do, because he can definitely play at this level. This was just a poor tournament for him. Unfortunate, but even if you look at like someone like Rolf or Dex, they are very, very interesting pieces as well. And I think they have a good, solid like build of what you need in a team, with different people taking different amounts of space in a team. So I like it. I like Peter as the coach. He's done some wonderful work with them since joining, grinding their way up. And it's one of the reasons why Swedish CS is back.
This is very true. Very true. And you know what? For Bob XD, it's a very big event for him. And there's probably a lot of pressure on him to perform the same way he was. It'll come with some time. He's not one of them players that I'm worried about. I mentioned to you, did you see that Maxter highlight? The spray down?
Yes.
Bruh. That was nuts.
He was as surprised as you were.
Yeah.
You could see it on the cam.
Sometimes it just works. But I'll say this. If that can happen more regularly for them, like these kind of runs, this could be a consistent team to be grinding forward to seeing at some of these other events, to see at some of the events next year or next half of the season where bigger teams don't attend. Like there's going to be opportunity now for them, and I'm excited because this is not the first or last time we're going to see them in terms of a tier 1 event.
No, I don't think so. I think they, even if they have down periods, them and Alliance, I think, are going to have regular showings for tier 1 events.
Who do you think is better right now?
If you want consistency, I think Alliance.
Yeah.
I think Eyeballers, they have maybe a bigger ceiling at times. Like they can at least play a bit more on momentum than that
probably
Alliance.
Comes from like JW's
but it's
way
very
of
different
the game.
styles of Counter-Strike. Your Alliance has it's a more structured style, with Eyeballers being a little bit more wingy.
True. All right, well, that's enough about Eyeballers. We'll go on to Bait. So Bait, I didn't have expectations for them. At one point, I thought they were not going to do anything and this was so dead. And now, okay, beat Wildcard, lose to Astralis 3D Max. Then I started to get worried. You beat Inner Circle, you beat Legacy. Legacy's a positive one. Then you lose to FUT, which I think everyone expects them to lose to FUT, but they even improved their overpass enough, or maybe FUT didn't improve their own overpass enough, but FUT's overpass is normally good. We see them challenging some top teams on that map. That I would say that this was a good run for them. Still, there are times where I'm seeing the Sizzy they keep telling me about, but I think let me just check. I'm not going to lie to everyone, but I think he was still the lowest rated player of the whole team. No, okay. Alex was under him. He had a 1.0 rating this time. So there is growth with the young kid. There is growth. And he even did some interviews and content as well. So I think we're on the right track with him for everything that was told to us.
I agree. They're on the right track with him. But I have a hard time sensing where I put Bait. I have a real struggle where
I'll,
like how good are they? Because
it's
obviously,
it's hard because I don't know where to put them either. I was gonna say, right, remember they were one. This is the other thing we have to hold them to. Budapest, one game away from playoffs of a major, and now that seems so far away for these guys. And Kenzor, how many times have I been positive about him at this team? What he can do, his raw skill. He's still there, maybe not as good as he could be, but both him and MPL are not as good as when MPL was leading.
but it's a weird one because like Essential used to be kind of their low-rated player in this tournament. He were their fifth best rated player of the entire event.
That's kind of one off for him, though.
Maybe even fourth if you remove karrigan from the list. He only played 2 maps.
Yeah, karrigan don't count, bro.
So fourth best player of the event.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's great, but you need all the pieces to kind of shine.
Yeah, last 3 events, he's been higher, by the way. He's gone 112, 116, 121, last 3 events.
Yeah. But for bait, this is a great tournament. It's kind of stopping the bleeding. It's a way for them to kind of finally get some breathing room and some space to actually believe if they are making the right decision or not. Because if obviously it was close, they could have went out in the other pool, but they didn't. They made playoff. They made a quarterfinals. They lost against the winners of the event. They played great against the winners of the event, narrowly losing 2 maps, 13-11 and 16-13.
Yeah.
Overall, great success for bait in this tournament for me.
Yeah. Paravision next. And Paravision. Jamie's Mr. Consistent with this, but do you know what? I think you could just almost bet on it now with Paravision that it will be one good playoff run, go deep in the tournament, then one bad tournament, then one good playoff run in the tournament, then one bad tournament. Let me look, see if I'm actually onto something here. So they win Bounty. Then they do really badly in Krakow, top 16. Then second place, Cluj-Napoca. Then do really badly at EPL. Then third to fourth in Rotterdam. And then I'll say really badly in Bucharest because the elite teams are not there. This was your event to win. Now, I'm not going to be harsh on Paravision. I don't think it's a blunder because this was a chance of a second trophy for the year. Realistically, people should have been looking at this as like, depending on the bracket, obviously a FUT, Paravision, FUT Mongols, Paravision Mongols, that kind of a grand final, right?
Okay, but if I put Paravision in quarterfinals versus, let's say, 3D Max or MIBR with Astralis eyeballers coming up, I think they make grand finals.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. They had the hard side of bracket, but so did FUT. But still, if you looked at that bracket before everything we know today, you would have said Paravision was the favourites to go into that grand final over any of the other teams.
Favorites, yes, but I personally believed in FUT.
Yeah, but I said FUT would make finals as well. I said I thought Paravision would give them a harder time. I thought they would struggle, but they're very well prepared for it. They've beat them in the group stage, right?
Yeah.
So I think Paravision's not bad, but they best perform when they are the underdogs. And Dastan, did you read that or listen to that Dastan interview?
I listened half of it, I think.
Dude, we love Dastan, right?
Yeah.
Full honesty. He's like, if I could kick some player now, I would kick a player.
I can't kick player now. Going major
coming up. It's basic, look, bro. If you're someone underperforming or missing the smokes and flashes, remember when they miss smokes and flashes, they get fines as well. Yeah, they have a fine system in place. We heard that on this podcast back when we did the Budapest Major. First of all, you're getting fined. Then also you should be sweating because you don't know if you're being kicked as well. Because the thing is, he's very right about some days one player pops off and takes over. James is consistent, but it's like the rest of them just sit at like a random 1 point something rating.
I'm kind of surprised Nota is a bit inconsistent because for me, he's been like, when they play great, it's Nota is
Nota's way.
He's the one that makes them look all-star almost. Obviously, if you have Sway, Cielo, James kind of running the show, having Note up there as well gives them a bit consistency.
But they are a young team, right? But
Yeah.
also, when you've already won an event and you're now doing multiple tier 1 events, the young team thing does start to like we're not going to accept that forever. And I understand Dastan's frustrations, and I'm never criticizing the way he's doing it, but it's like some of the mistakes they make, it's hard. Some of the mistakes I would not even be as harsh as Dastan would be on them. But I guess if he's seeing them every single time and he's like looking at it with a microscope every time, it's probably very hard for him to deal with.
As it is for any coach.
Yes, but I mean, when you've already thought you got over this and you're winning the tournaments and you're going through it, and then old habits die, and he's expecting them to remember.
That's a different conversation to have. Expect people to remember. That's like, that's the worst part about being a coach. Let me just tell me.
Well, expecting teams to remember things.
Expecting people to remember what you tell them is it's the toughest task.
Yeah, just ask my wife. Just ask my wife. I don't remember half the things I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Always a million things going on. I don't know. I think this is disappointing one more so than other early exits because this wasn't a tough set of teams. Like for 100% they should have beaten 3D Max and been on the other side of the bracket, you know? Like this Paravision shouldn't be losing to 3D Max. Not in current form of how it is. And they were lucky to make playoffs. Definitely.
True.
But I don't see them as in a worrying position. Like, what's the next event for them? Let me have a look.
I mean, they just go home. Dustin whips them up a little bit, and then it's all.
They got chill time until Kazakhstan, and then they do CAC, and then they're in stage 3 of the major.
Dustin in Kazakhstan.
That's going to be good. That's going to
be the best Paravision we've ever seen.
All right, from here we go to 3D Max. I think both of us didn't have 3D Max making playoffs, right?
You had.
I had them making playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm delusional in some way, I guess. I don't know. I'm still I like the Masuta edition. I like the fact that MBK is going to be behind them more. Teams they beat in order to make their playoff run. They beat Voka, Bait. Paravision wins impressive. They beat MIBR as well. Losing to Astralis, there's no real shame in that. It was a 2-0. Close games, though. Just unable to take it over the line. And then losing to Mongols in the third place decider, I would still put Mongols way ahead of 3D Max anyway, even if it's this iteration of them. So I think this is a top 4 is very good to 3D Max.
Yeah.
Considering where they're at. Like, this is one you can look at more positively. But I remember we were talking about them last year. Could be a constant top 8 team, playoff team, and then it never came to be. So I'm not out on this team. I'm just reserved about how I look at it, because obviously if there was elite teams here, the same for many of the teams, they wouldn't have made playoffs. But I mean, I would never put 3D Max in that conversation if the elite teams are here that they could even have a chance of making it to playoffs. But they've got time to develop with this roster.
I think that's a fair assessment. I do think there's something exciting happening around 3D Max. They've just, gone back to their old coach, bringing in obviously MBK, switching a little bit of roles. Masuta is in. I think there's something interesting about what they're trying to do, and I think that they have the potential to go further than where they were at with their last lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a little bit of a time game for them, because they obviously made all of this stuff a month ago. I'm not sure they've had enough time to really settle into all the changes and all the things that they will be doing. So I'll be giving them a little bit more time, but I'm positive on 3D Max. And I think overall, the tournament itself and the performance, it was great. It's a step in the right direction, because we have to remember a month ago they were free falling down to 26th in the VRS, and they were for quite a while pretty stable around that 10 to 15 mark.
Yeah.
And they're heading back in that direction. I think they're currently 15th. So they kind of bumped their way back in to that stability, but I think it's gonna progress a little bit further, and I think they can be competitive against some teams, especially the likes of like G2 or someone like that. But I don't think they, as you mentioned, will be, you know, defeating Vitality anytime soon.
Definitely not, especially that French matchup on the cards. And what's interesting, right? Since like late or say August 2024, all the way into where we are now, they've hovered anywhere max going up to 8th in the world on VRS. And then roughly they average out around like top 12, 13. And obviously they're back there right now as being 15. So I feel like this is just a position for them to go anywhere close to being a top 8 team right now. When you've got teams like FUT and Astralis punching higher, it's like their spot's just going to keep dropping down because I don't see where they can go to match it. So I feel like they are still yet to show us a way for them to go further, you know, and find a way into it. And it's more just all on them and all eyes on them to make that possible. So next is Mongols. Now, Mongols, I don't know. I never had them. I had them as a team that could make grand finals and win the event, but I never believed in them. If this was Mongols of like Austin time or before Senzu was gone,
they would be clear favorites.
Yes. Yeah, exactly, by a long way. Their run wasn't bad, right? They lost to Astralis and they lost to FUT, and then they beat 3D Max. So they only lost 2 times. I think the Astralis loss is painful because
they lost in the group stage as well, right?
Yeah, group stage one. So that could have been the 3-0. That could have been 3-0 for Mongols and through to playoffs. Obviously, all teams go to quarters anyway, but it's obviously seeding side. But they beat Paravision, they beat Wildcard, they lose to FUT in 2-0, and they beat 3D Max 2-0. 3D Max one we just spoke about was at least a dominant victory, right? One to be proud of. But it's still, they were doing this also without Mara. Some people told me, by the way, I'm not sure if this is true, that like he's having a kid as well. So if he is, congratulations to him. That's awesome. Obviously, hopefully he's back for the major. But I don't know. I don't think this isn't good by their standards for a team that can lift tier 1 trophies and be in tier 1 grand finals. But it's still their development as a team right now that puts them on an okay position.
Yeah, I mean, a 3rd place finish, it ain't that bad. They were never really front runners to be the winners in my book. I think that they're in that weird space where it's gonna take them some time. They're either gonna fall or kind of fall upwards or drop down very hard where they need to make more player changes. I'm still not completely sold on Cobra Sera versus Sensor discussion, even though it's something we need to maybe stop even discussing at this point. But I like him as a player. I think he's good. They can definitely shoot, as long as said in the earlier in the episode. But I'm still keeping my kind of reserved view that I think they will hover around 10th to, like, I don't think there will be a credible top 5 team for a consistent basis.
Okay, but what do you think of like the development of Cobra Zero so far? Because he's hitting some good highs. He's looking really strong.
I think there's nothing to blame him for. I think obviously he's kind of thrown into a very, like, the deep end to some sense. And I think he's doing as well as you can kind of expect from a player. I think that there is potential in him. There's growth to be had in him. But they've only had 3 months, and just jumping from, was it the Huns? The Huns to the Mongols is a pretty big leap to make. So yeah, he obviously needs to get a little bit more comfortable in this in scene. And I mean, he's only 20, so there's room to grow.
Yeah, and I feel like he has some moments where it catches me, and I'm like, oh, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Cobra Zero, and it's just finding more consistency in that and finding some more confidence in that, especially against good opposition.
Yeah,
I don't want to compare him to Senzu too much, but I want him to see at least have the level where I see moments of him being able to take more of that space like Senzu used to do. That would be nice. That would help them a lot because it limits them where. But obviously, Senzu had that over time, right? With just knowing what to do, reactionary to things.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take some time. It's a big leap. There's a lot of new stuff for him, so I think they're obviously gonna. Got I, for me, I'm seeing like this year's kind of just riding the wave for the Mongols, and maybe they'll get some exponential burst at some point. But I'm
Mhm.
kind of seeing it to be maybe next year, if they stick through it, because it's such a
It's a long way already.
there's one thing to be like top 10, but to
Mhm.
like burst up into competing against Vitality and top 5 teams, I think it's a big leap to make, consistency
They're still
wise.
5th right now, though, which is really good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
kind of
really good.
crazy. It's so they're still hanging in there in a good position. All right, let's. Who's next? Astralis from 3rd place at EPL to 2nd place at Bucharest. Still a very positive run. Beat MIBR, Bay, Mongols, Eyeballers, 3D Max. They didn't really like. Only the Mongols was like a tough team they had to fight until they got to FUT.
Yeah.
So they had an easier run, but you can only beat who's in front of you. Just saying, like, it was not really much to go off of, and they should have lost that Eyeballers game. Great ability to be able to come back and win it the way they did in that, but it should have been 2-0 Eyeballers. And from there, right, going up against FUT, I think lauNX made a really good point that I didn't look at when I was watching the finals, in that they play scared versus them. Because I saw rounds, if you remember on, I don't know if you remember on Nuke, there was a round where like Hooksy calls for a lobby crunch and FUT were not ready for it. Those were the kind of things that were surprising. But then when Astralis played more standard, that just played into FUT's wheelhouse. And you think
Yeah.
you only win Nuke after you were down, like it was crazy. They were down 10-4, then 11-7, then it was 12-10. Like FUT win control should have won 3-0. And then instead, Astralis battled back, won 16-14 to get absolutely dumped on Dust 2, which is still causing them headaches and problems. So
Yeah, it's. I mean,
revenge was had.
yeah, I think overall it's a good tournament from Astralis. They should be very, very happy with making grand finals. I don't think, and I think it was evident in the Hooks interview as well. They were 3rd or 4th in VRS. He kind of toned it down and said, yeah, it's kind of great to be there, but I think we all know we're not really 4th in the world.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
He's
there's
realistic.
there's very obvious truths to that. But it's an Astralis with potential. It's an Astralis that is growing. It's an Astralis that has, they're picking up experience and they're picking up wins, and they're at least competitive.
Yeah.
So I think overall I'm not sure you could ever have asked them to win this tournament, if I'm brutally honest, going into it.
Even if they faced like a Paravision or a Mongols in the final, if it wasn't
I don't
FUT?
think so. I think they did the best they could.
Okay. I'm also excited to see if there will be more of a pop off from the Fuzis and the Ryus as they get more confident with this level of pressure, because it's something they're not used to feeling.
Yeah.
Because Fuzi had some real stinkers on that final. Like I was literally trying to count his misplays or decisions I would not normally see him fumble that continued to happen.
Well, I think it was just for the entire squad. I think there was even, they were tuning into voice comms during this tournament, and you could hear Hooksy, talking about tilt and resetting and fixing it. So there's a glaring idea that when Longs talks about they're in their head, they can hear frustrations, they feel frustrations, and it changes how Astralis is playing and the quality of how they're playing. And that takes time to kind of figure out how to deal with as a team. And I think that's probably where they gain experience. Is how do they deal with it? What do we do next time?
Yeah.
And it's not always as straightforward as just fixing it. Emotions come, and how to deal with them can be difficult in a moment's notice for anyone.
And obviously, FUT, we don't need to talk about. We discussed all of it with lauNX. So that brings us to the end of PGL Bucharest. It was a very good event overall, considering the team and the field that was there. Obviously, a huge jump up for the teams that performed very well in VRS standards. We'll see how that evens out now we get into Rio and stuff. That was on the previous episode. Again, if you didn't see it, all of our Rio stuff's in there. So the only thing we've got left to do is a bit of the recent news. So we will start with our recent news. And there's only a couple of pieces in here. Regali leaves FlyQuest free agency. There is actually a demand for AWPers now. Yeah. He's open to offers, but if I look down Regali's history of teams and stuff, for example, he went from the Fnatic Rising, Fnatic Academy, Copenhagen Flames. OG was an okay one for him, but it was still just under a year. Entropic, not a great team, and then FlyQuest as well, where it lasted a while, over a year, but it didn't have what they needed or what he wanted. I still think he's capable, but he's one of these AWPers that I feel like he needs a lot of catering to. He needs a lot of setting up and he needs a lot of resources for him. And I'm not sure if that works for a lot of teams, especially he might have to look down at lower tier teams as well.
I think the hype is starting to die for Regali. Sorry, I'm selling stocks if we're doing it any way in that way. But
yeah.
It's clear Regali has, he has potential. He has a skill set. I'm starting to wonder how coachable is the kid. How these are the questions that come up in my mind because he's had. He came from a Copenhagen Flames OG, being one of the most hyped young AWPers in the scene, to now it's starting to dim downwards in trend. And I didn't think he had a very good major run either. I felt
the great
sometimes
first stage.
Yeah, but when I look at AWPers, one of the core attributes I look at is what does this AWPer do when your team is struggling?
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the biggest responsibilities for an AWPer is to start picking up kills, start finding ways for your team to win round, alleviate the riflers from just running in and dying. And I felt
make life easier.
He went a little bit too passive in my eyes, which can happen to anyone. Still very young, capable AWPer, only 23. I'm sure he will have his opportunities kind of bounce back into the scene, but it's rough times for him.
I feel like if you don't make it work in an Oceania team, then you have to take a step back even further in Europe to be able to build yourself back up. And it's about that fight he needs to show in order to do it.
Yeah.
So let's see what could be next for him. Let's see who will give him a shot. But he's gonna he has to show something next in it. And then our last thing to touch on here, karrigan to join the Falcons. People said it would never be. Nico and karrigan back together again. I'll say this, Yanko tweeted out earlier, they did a podcast with Yanko and Nico on ESL ages ago, I think it's a year ago or so. And that gives you a lot of insight into just how it could work, how their relationship can be, what they're like, right? I need to go back and watch it, but I do vaguely remember some of the moments they were looking at there. But I will say this is true. HLTV and KRL was the French streamer was the first to report it. He was correct. It was not a dummy. HLTV confirmed it. And I spoke to some people and they also confirmed it. I showed DevWalk yesterday and he was like, oh my God. When I sent him the screenshot that I can't show you guys, he was like, what the hell? Because this is real. This is happening. And people Devil, you got a different opinion. We had a little chat about this, but I think this is great for karrigan because this is less firepower for Falcons. This is exactly the player's style that works for karrigan at his best. And I might be a romantic and a dreamer and all in on this, but I'm just thinking, Kioski, Nico, Manasi, Testis is there, but I mean, those three, no one's good. Like the loosiness, the playing off feeling, the going with it. It might be a bit harder for Kioski to be like quick on it and go. But for Manasi, for Nico, this is going to be great. For Testis, it's going to be no problem. I love this on paper. And they need a leader. They need a like, by the way, I'll say this, nothing against Kixan. As an IGL, I love him. But I think in that current team where Nico is such a voice, I don't think it's working in this fighting that off, yeah? And I'm not saying that's the right way to do a team, because I know Devil's going to come with a coach mindset about how this can be split. But I mean, there's going to be no bigger voice than karrigan in that team. It's not happening. Doesn't matter what Nico's saying. You can call as much CT as you... If karrigan decides something, he says jump, you say how high, that kind of mentality.
Okay, let's...
Here we go, right? Let me sit back. Let me get comfy.
Let's kind of dive into this. So,
yeah.
First of all, I feel bad for Kixan. I think still Kixan is an IGL for the future. I think that he is, capable of leading maybe one of the best teams in the world in the future. Getting karrigan in, I think, yes, it solves issues with the emotional leadership, maybe some chokiness to them, that he can give them some restraint in the middle of the round. He has a big personality. People listen to him. In that sense, makes, logical sense. It's all great. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about is if I look at the FaZe project, for some reason, you can't just look at that project and say that there is zero fault in karrigan for this drop-off. There has to, to some degree, be something, the way they're working every day, the way they're practicing. Something is wrong with the talent and the players that they have there in that group. And for some reason, karrigan has failed to kind of bind that group together again and harness the skill set of what's been there.
But
yes,
okay,
what's
but
your
then
but?
Don't you just say like, yes, karrigan can take some of the blame, but Brokey was a big problem. Jacob
100%.
definitely wasn't the right fit. Yeah. And
but you're also FaZe, this could have happened a year ago.
Yeah,
this could have been, karrigan saying, okay, this is not working anymore. We need to fix this before we sink this ship even deeper, so no one can recover any parts of its ancient history. It feels like, every time I see, I don't know how FaZe works, but I still assume to some degree that karrigan's input has been important for FaZe throughout their journey, and why they've kept some players and why they've, changed people. I don't think his input has been irrelevant, even though he might not have been the one deciding the be and an end all. So all I'm saying, I think on paper, karrigan's move to Falcons makes sense on a surface level. What I'm wondering is karrigan up to the meta? Has there been problems with the way they've approached CS that has caused their downfall as well? And is this just going to magically fix itself with him joining mid-season? Comparably, where I would have liked it better is at the end of a season where there's a break, where karrigan can kind of go in, have time to set how he wants to play Counter-Strike with this lineup. Whilst in the middle of the season, I could foresee it being not as great as everyone thinks it's going to be straight on.
That's a very well measured response. I could be, like I said, romanticizing the situation. But don't you think it's better they make the change now and be ahead of the curve coming into it? If you're already thinking about, like, if they were thinking about making those changes, maybe they were even surprised that, like,
I think
came
this
up
is
as an option.
essentially them conceding any chances of winning the major.
This major, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they make a grand final with some karrigan luck.
Yeah.
But obviously
There
they're not
might
going to
be
be. They're not going to
something
be
into that.
Vitality anyway, right? This is not happening. So
Yeah, but it feels weird to me, especially that's in the middle of a season kind of deal. But I'm not against karrigan joining Falcons. I just don't foresee it to be smack bang, every problem solved. Now we're, beating Vitality the next game. I foresee it to be a little bit of a longer testing period for that to happen. Because if you look at any team karrigan has had, there's always been continuous growth period. We look at Mouse, even this face lineup, it was an instant success. It took them a long time to find success. And I'm wondering, karrigan turning 36, I think either today or tomorrow, whenever it was. How much time do we actually have of karrigan in this lineup?
Let me just check. I guess it's through to his retirement. He's 35, will be 36 when? Let's have a look.
I think it's tomorrow.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, 14th of April. You are correct. He'll be 36. He's older than me.
So that's kind of where my worrying questions comes from. But
yeah,
I don't think they will be necessarily worse. But this looks to me like they're getting karrigan to fix their problems now. This is a now build, and it's going to mount even more pressure on the team, the individuals. Like, everything is going to mount instantly. It's not like people are going to be like, okay, let's give them 6 months. That's not going to happen. So that's where I'm weighing on this.
But look at this. They'll play Astana and they'll play CAC, LANs, before the major. And they'll play that with karrigan.
Yeah.
That's 2 good events to get ready for the major. Then a boot camp before Cologne, you'd hope, because they're in stage 3. And they rock and roll with it from there.
Interesting. I will be watching, definitely.
We will definitely be watching. That first game is going to be record-breaking viewership for whoever's got it.
Yep.
It's Astana. Yeah, it's Astana. That's going to be crazy. karrigan in a Falcons jersey. And it's for me, this is it though. This is the last hurrah. This is the last moment for karrigan to deliver something, to show it, because this is where he has got another super team again, and he's almost been gifted it, Gifted the chance,
this is what bothers me with the release of Kixon. Because Kixon, I think, is still for the future, but the demands are now. And I am... It's not that I'm negative towards karrigan. I think I'm negative more than Kixon is removed.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. I would say that also for FaZe now, you can only remove one other player. Now, will Twist want to stay? Will Frozen want to go somewhere? If Frozen gets an offer and goes somewhere, you have to keep Brokey, Jacob, and Twist. Like, only one more player can go. Otherwise, that core's gone. Or maybe FaZe as a whole organization exit CS, which would be a sad day. But
I
also,
think it's more
I don't
leaning
imagine
towards exiting.
I don't imagine karrigan with... I mean, I don't imagine FaZe without karrigan now either. And that's a sad thing. The FaZe logo gone from CS.
I mean, he was probably one of the bigger pulls for a player to join.
Yeah. Does Twist IGL again?
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see. Interesting. But I think for my money, it's kind of a gamble from Falcon's side.
Well, let's wait and see how it will all go down. We had a couple more lauNX questions coming while we were doing the episode, but we already filmed the episode and he's already gone, so we can't answer that. There's no more questions for us. So that means episode 57 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast is done. I hope you enjoyed us having lauNX on in a different way, a different style of having the guest on and getting some things working in there. I hope you all enjoyed another banger episode from us. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe because it does help us out a lot. There's actually a fact. It's like 70% of the people who watch the podcast aren't subscribed. So if any of you could just hit the subscribe button, it helps us so much. You're watching actively again and again and again. Same people, same viewers. So if you just hit subscribe, turn notifications on, it helps us out. Remember, we have no sponsors, no anything. We're just doing it ourselves. So these things matter. Does mean a lot to us. Helps with an understanding where the podcast is going. The next episode we'll be back doing will be after Rio, and we will cover the review of Rio into the Blast Rivals 2026 in Fort Worth, Texas. So you ready for that one, DW?
Will do. All right. Thank you,
will do.
everyone. Bye-bye.